Chapter 987. Chapter 985. Feng Tianlong's request. So, even without his relationship with Feng Tianlong, Lin Yi wouldn't be stingy with his deskmate, Xiao Xiao. Plus, he'd touched her breast before, so Lin Yi felt a little apologetic. Thank you so much. Feng Tianlong didn't know what to say after hearing Lin Yi's words. Feng Tianlong knew the importance of pure qi, and he didn't think that Lin Yi would agree without hesitation. It's too early to say thank you. Lin Yi waved his hand. It seems that pure qi isn't very effective for Xiao Xiao's illness, and there's no possibility of curing her. Yeah. Feng Tianlong sighed and said bitterly, we can only try our best now. Other than that, what else can we do? Lin Yi, do you really have no other way? Could he save Feng Xiao Xiao? She's so pitiful. Tang Yin couldn't bear to see Lin Yi do what he could out of consideration for her feelings, or because he hated Xiao Xiao to begin with. Yeah, can we think of something else? That pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, is it useful for Xiao Xiao? Feng Tianlong looked at Tang Yin gratefully before asking anxiously. That pill doesn't have much use. Lin Yi shook his head. But I can give you one. It won't hurt even if you don't eat it. Tianlong paused. From what he saw, even if Lin Yi agreed to give him a pill of life extension and toxin cleansing, he wouldn't give it to him for free. After all, that pill was sold for over 400 million at the auction. No matter how good their relationship was, Lin Yi wouldn't just take it out so casually. After all, there was a cost involved. But Feng Tianlong didn't think that Lin Yi would be this generous, giving him one straight away. He was touched beyond words. How can I? One is a few hundred million. Feng Tianlong couldn't help but be moved. I can give you 10, Lin Yi said faintly. Sometimes a friendship is a lifetime, isn't it? You're right. I'm being unreasonable. Feng Tianlong nodded. Tell me more about her condition and where you've seen her, and I'll think of something, Lin Yi said after a sigh. In truth, Lin Yi really didn't have any ideas. He'd never heard of Xiao Xiao's situation before, and if he really had to think of something, he'd have to get Tianlong to give him more information and ask his old man about it. Although he inherited a large portion of his old man's medical knowledge, his old man was still better than him in some areas. Xiao Xiao's illness actually starts from her mother. She died from this family hereditary disease, and when she died, she was only 20 years old. At that time, it was only because of a miracle doctor that she managed to survive until she was 20 years old. The other people in the family, on the other hand, only reached the end of their lives when they were 17 or 18. Feng Tianlong sighed. According to the hospital's analysis, there is an unknown substance in Xiao Xiao's blood, and no one knows what it is. Some say it's a blood defect. Some say it's poison. The miracle doctor who treated Xiao Xiao's mother back then said that she was poisoned by a poisonous insect. Lin Yi frowned. Feng Tianlong basically didn't say anything because there wasn't any important information. It made Lin Yi feel like he didn't know where to start. He just asked casually, that miracle doctor, who was he? From Lin Yi's perspective, it wasn't easy for that miracle doctor to keep Xiao Xiao's mother alive until she was 20 years old. His name is Lin Dongfang, and he was a famous miracle doctor for a time. The older generation all know his name. Feng Tianlong said, Lin Dongfang. Lin Yi's eyes went wide as he looked at Feng Tianlong. Are you sure that miracle doctor's name is Lin Dongfang? Yes. Why? Lin Yi, you've heard of this person too. Feng Tianlong paused when he saw Lin Yi's reaction, but he seemed to have thought of something. Your surname is Lin too. You can't be, since he's seen it and there's nothing I can do. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. He's my old man, the person who taught me medicine. Old man? He's your father? Feng Tianlong's eyes went wide as he looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. He didn't think that after 19 years, he would meet Lin Dongfang's heir, and they were both troubled by the same illness. Not my father. According to age, I can call him Grandpa, but he said that we're not related by blood. You pick me up. Lin Yi didn't hide it this time. 1. Feng Tianlong was a trustworthy person, and 2. Tianlong knew Lin Dongfang. There was no need to hide anything from him. Man, Feng Tianlong sighed. It seems like there's really no other way. Lin Yi shrugged. There was nothing he could do. Xiao Xiao's illness was special, and there was no reference. Lin Yi didn't read anything about it in ancient books. Although Lin Yi sympathized with Xiao Xiao, there was nothing he could do. Uncle Feng, my condolences. It's human nature to grow old and die. Lin Yi sighed. But I'll try my best. Thank you. Feng Tianlong nodded sadly. He could only accept this reality. Lin Yi had no other way. He gave up completely. He didn't think that Lin Yi could think of anything. After all, even Lin Yi's master Lin Dongfeng couldn't do anything. What could Lin Yi do? Xiao Xiao is already 19. I'm afraid she'll die in a year and a half. Feng Tianlong said sadly. Lin Yi didn't know what to say. He had seen too many people die, and Feng Tianlong was the same. But when it came to his daughter, he would still feel sad. Lin Yi, Feng Tianlong hesitated. I have a request. Please say it, Uncle Feng. Don't say anything. I'll do it if I can. Lin Yi said quickly. I can tell that Xiao Xiao likes you. Feng Tianlong raised his head and looked at Lin Yi. Probably. Lin Yi nodded and waited for Feng Tianlong to continue. Tang Yun's heart jumped. She raised her head as well. Chapter 988. Tang Yun's decision. Uncle Feng, you want me to be Xiao Xiao's boyfriend? Lin Yi naturally understood what Tianlong meant, but he shook his head. But this isn't a game. Forgive me, but I can't agree to it. After all, I have feelings for Xiao Xiao, but I already have a girlfriend. Lin Yi, listen to me first. This is why I asked your girlfriend to come as well. Tianlong said, although I know that this isn't fair to your girlfriend, as a father, I also want my daughter to be as happy as possible before she reaches the end of her life, without any regrets. Of course, I'm not asking you to break up with your girlfriend. You just need to pretend and play along. Trick Xiao Xiao and let her die without regrets. This is a father's wish. I hope you can agree to it. With that, Tianlong stood up and was about to bow to Lin Yi. Lin Yi jumped in fright and quickly got up to stop Tianlong. He smiled bitterly. Uncle Feng, what are you doing? If there's anything, let's discuss it. Why do you have to do this? Uncle Feng, I promise you. Lin Yi hadn't agreed yet when Tang Yun spoke up first. Uncle Feng, I'll cooperate with Lin Yi and put on a good show. I'll let Xiao Xiao walk the last part of her journey without regrets. Tang Yun was really touched. Plus, Tianlong made it clear that he only wanted Lin Yi to pretend to be Xiao Xiao's boyfriend. From Tang Yun's point of view, so what if it was real? What was there to fight with someone who was about to die? Even if she had to give Lin Yi to Xiao Xiao for a year, Tang Yun could accept it. After all, she and Lin Yi had a long road ahead of them, and Xiao Xiao only had less than a year to live. This was the unfairness of fate. Tang Yun sympathized with her, and naturally, she agreed to Tianlong's request without hesitation. Tianlong thought that Tang Yun was the biggest obstacle, but he didn't think that the first one to agree would be Tang Yun. This touched Feng Tianlong and made him fall in love with Tang Yun, this kind girl. Not every girl had this kind of selfless spirit. Tang Yun, thank you. Feng Tianlong thanked Tang Yun seriously. Don't say that. Xiao Xiao is my classmate, and I want her to be happy. Tang Yun shook her head. Thank you. Lin Yi, can you agree to my request? Tianlong knew that Lin Yi hadn't said anything yet. Although Tang Yun had agreed, Lin Yi was the one who was in charge. What else can I say? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Does this count as an order to hit on a girl? Huh. Tianlong heard Lin Yi's words and laughed happily. You guys can have more contact with each other. I'm not afraid of my daughter being taken advantage of, and I don't need you to be responsible. It's best if you have a son or daughter, and I won't be lonely when I'm old. Why? Lin Yi's eyes went wide, shocked by Tianlong's words. Tang Yun's face changed as well. Let Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao have a child. Although Tang Yun sympathized with Xiao Xiao and was willing to let Lin Yi pretend to be her boyfriend, asking Xiao Xiao to have a child with Lin Yi, Tang Yun felt weird no matter how she looked at it. What would happen after the child was born? If Xiao Xiao really died, then Lin Yi would take care of the child, and she would be a stepmother? Tang Yun couldn't accept it, at least not now. How old was she? And she was already a stepmother. How strange. Uncle Feng, I'm afraid I can't agree to your request. Lin Yi shook his head and smiled bitterly. Lin Yi, I know you're worried about the child's future, but I can promise you that I won't let you take responsibility, and I won't let you take care of the child. Tianlong said, I will take care of the child myself. If you don't want to, I won't tell the child who his father is. Uncle Feng, let's put this aside for now, okay? Let's not talk about whether or not Xiao Xiao will agree. Even I don't have that deep of a relationship with her, so it won't be too late to talk about it when it really comes to that. Lin, he waved his hand. Plus, if it really comes to that, I will recognize the child. I can't let the child be without a mother or a father. Okay. Tianlong sighed. Lin Yi's words sounded nice, but Tianlong knew that Lin Yi was just rejecting him in a roundabout way. Lin Yi and his daughter probably wouldn't get to that step for a while, and his daughter didn't have long to live. It would be too late in the future. Since Yin Yun has agreed, then I won't be unreasonable. I can only say that I'll do my best, but I won't abandon Yin Yun. If Xiao Xiao can accept Yin Yun, then there's no problem, but if she still rejects Yin Yun, then I won't let Yin Yun suffer. Lin Yi sympathized with Xiao Xiao and couldn't reject Tianlong, but at the same time, he didn't want Tang Yin to suffer for no reason. Lin Yi, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. It's just 1 year. I'll just endure it. Tang Yin quickly shook her head. She'd already made her decision, so how could she go back on it? Then we'll talk about it when the time comes. Lin Yi didn't continue this topic. Lin Yi, Tang Yin, I have one more request. Please don't tell Xiao Xiao the truth, and don't let her know that she has a terminal illness. She has a strong ego, and I'm afraid that she'll reject your good intentions if she knows the truth. Tianlong reminded. Don't worry, Uncle Feng, I know what to do. We won't say anything. Lin Yi nodded. Then I'm relieved. Tianlong said, then there's nothing else. Do you guys have time? I'll treat you guys to a meal to express my gratitude. Uncle Feng, there's no need for a meal. Lin Yi waved his hand. Tang Yin and I still need to go back to school. Uncle Feng, you don't have to be so polite. You're asking me to date your daughter, and you're treating me to a meal? I feel very awkward. Huh? Tianlong was amused by Lin. All right, then in the future, when you come back with Xiao Xiao, we'll go for a meal. Lin Yi nodded and said goodbye to Tianlong, leaving Pengzhan Business Hotel with Tang Yin. In the car, Lin Yi turned to Tang Yin. Yin Yin, don't hurt yourself. Chapter 989. What do I mind? But you? Lin Yi thought that Tang Yin was going against her will, but it seemed like she was doing it willingly. I'm fine, really. If Xiao Xiao accepts me and lets me be by your side, then that's great. If she doesn't, then I'll just watch you guys from the side. Tang Yin said with a carefree smile. Lin Yi nodded and didn't say anything else. He really didn't think that things would come to this, and that Xiao Xiao had such a tragic background. It was impossible to tell from the surface, and if Tianlong hadn't told him the truth, Lin Yi would have thought that Xiao Xiao was just a healthy, naughty girl. The car stopped at the food street behind the school, and Lin Yi and Tang Yin went back to school together. Lin Yi and Tang Yin parted ways at the entrance of Class 9. Before they parted, Tang Yin winked at Lin. I'm going back to class. You can start your plan to hit on girls. But don't make it real. I'm fine with it, but I'm worried that you'll be sad. Huh? Lin Yi smiled and walked back to his class. Aren't you going to the cafeteria to get something to eat? By the time Lin Yi got back, it was already the last class of the afternoon had ended. It was almost time for the self-study period, and the 12th grade's self-study period lasted until 6 at night. Most students would go out to get something to eat at this time. I'll go alone, Tang Yin said. Why don't you go with Xiao Xiao? She'll get suspicious if the change is too sudden. Let's take it slow. Lin Yi shook his head. I'll ask her later. We'll go to the cafeteria together. Sure. Tang Yin nodded. Lin Yi was right. If Lin Yi did a 180-degree change in attitude, then Xiao Xiao would really get suspicious. Back in the classroom, Lin Yi saw Xiao Xiao sitting alone in her seat. His heart ached. Xiao Xiao didn't have any real friends, and all the other students in the classroom had gone out to buy food. Only Xiao Xiao was there. Lin Yi quickly walked to the seat and sat down. Xiao Xiao raised her head when she heard the noise. It was Lin Yi, and she couldn't help but be happy. You're back? What took you so long? Didn't you buy something to eat? The self-study session ends at 6:30, 2 hours. Aren't you hungry? Lin Yi didn't answer Xiao Xiao's question. Xiao Xiao paused, not expecting Lin Yi to show concern for her. She got a little excited. I haven't eaten yet. Do you want to eat? Shall we go to the cafeteria together? I'm going with Tang Yin later, Lin Yi said faintly. He couldn't let Xiao Xiao see through him. What he said earlier was a lot better than usual, so Lin Yi had to be careful. Oh, I'll go too. Xiao Xiao was annoyed. She thought that Lin Yi was starting to care for her, but it seemed like he was just asking casually. She said, not willing to lose. Do whatever you want. Lin Yi didn't reject her like he usually did. With that, he walked out of the classroom. Xiao Xiao quickly followed, walking beside Lin Yi. She didn't believe that Lin Yi would be able to resist her intense pursuit. He would definitely fall in love with her. At the door of Class 9, Lin Yi called out to Tang Yin. Tang Yin frowned when she saw Xiao Xiao beside Lin Yi. She was a little surprised. Lin, she's under the cafeteria too, Lin Yi said. Tang Yin looked at Xiao Xiao. That was a greeting. She knew that she couldn't be too friendly. That didn't fit her personality. And so, the three of them walked to the cafeteria. Lin Yi held Tang Yin's hand, and Xiao Xiao was on the other side of Lin Yi. She wanted to hold Lin Yi's hand, but she was afraid that Lin Yi would just fling her hand away. That'd be so embarrassing. Xiao Xiao felt like she was a third wheel. Why were Lin Yi and Tang Yin so close? It seemed like it wouldn't be easy to separate Tang Yin and Lin Yi. Xiao Xiao knew that after Tang Yin exposed her plan last time, Tang Yin wouldn't have much of a reaction no matter what she did. Hoping for Lin Yi to fall in love with her and then dump Tang Yin was an even more impossible mission. At least, Xiao Xiao didn't think that she'd be able to accomplish it in her lifetime. Was it time for him to change his strategy? Looking at Lin Yi and Tang Yin, who were stuck together like glue, Xiao Xiao's little brain started spinning again. Maybe she wouldn't let Lin Yi dump Tang Yin, but let Lin Yi fall in love with her and Tang Yin at the same time. If she died, Lin Yi would be sad, right? But he still had Tang Yin. What if he didn't feel anything after she died? Wouldn't she die for nothing? Whatever. She was going to die sooner or later anyway. She couldn't take revenge on Lin Yi, so she'd just pretend that she was testing the feeling of love on Lin Yi. She didn't have to worry about hurting Lin Yi anyway. It's decided. Xiao Xiao comforted herself. At that thought, Xiao Xiao felt relieved. She didn't feel that much hostility towards Tang Yin anymore. The three came to the cafeteria, and Lin Yi went to buy food. He knew what Tang Yin usually ate, but he didn't know what Xiao Xiao liked to eat. Xiao Xiao, what do you want to eat? I'll eat whatever you guys eat. Are you going to treat me? Xiao Xiao was happy that Lin Yi was going to treat her. Xiao Xiao didn't know why she was so happy. Sometimes, the person you didn't understand the most was yourself. Lin Yi nodded. I didn't have the beef noodles for lunch. I'll treat you again. Then I'll eat whatever you guys eat. Xiao Xiao wasn't a picky eater either. Okay. Lin Yi nodded and went to buy food. Before he left, he looked at Tang Yin, who gave him a reassuring look. Xiao Xiao, what do you want? After Lin Yi left, Tang Yin looked at Xiao Xiao coldly. I like Lin Yi. What can I? Do you mind? Xiao Xiao didn't expect Tang Yin to suddenly make things difficult for her, but she wasn't a weak person. She replied with confidence. Mind what? Tang Yin curled her lips. Someone's dumb enough to want to be Lin Yi's mistress. Why would I mind? I'm happy, but I'm afraid that Lin Yi won't like you. Chapter 990. A win-win situation? Didn't she say the same thing to Tang Yin before? She said that if Tang Yin performed well, she'd let her be a mistress, and now Tang Yin was throwing those words back at her. At that thought, Xiao Xiao wasn't annoyed at all. She was actually happy. Tang Yin, since you said that, then I'm sorry. I'm not like you. I don't get angry. I'll just go with the flow. I like being a mistress. It's so nice being a second wife. It's so tiring being the main wife. You're always jealous. Xiao Xiao giggled. Tang Yin, what if Lin Yi really likes me? Are you sure you'll take responsibility for what you said? Tang Yin was at a loss for words. She seemed to be hesitating. What? You don't dare to say anything now. Xiao Xiao teased. Of course I'll keep my words. If Lin Yi really likes you, then I won't have anything to say. Tang Yun said decisively as if provoked by Xiao Xiao. If he accepts you, then I'll accept you. All right, it's a deal then. Xiao Xiao was pleased. Tang Yun didn't have as many ideas as she did, falling for it just like that. It's a deal then. Tang Yun humphed. Then from now on, don't give me any face. Don't let me get close to Lin Yi. Xiao Xiao said. As long as he doesn't say anything, I'll be with you. Tang Yun nodded, blushing. All right, for fairness' sake, the three of us will eat together, go to school together, and leave together. Xiao Xiao continued to test Tang Yun's bottom line. She wanted to take advantage of Tang Yun's impulsiveness to get more benefits. Fair is fair. I'll let you know if I'm going on a date with him. All right? Tang Yun said angrily. It'll be useless even if I give you the chance. It's not that easy to be a mistress. Then just wait and see. Xiao Xiao almost jumped up and cheered 3 times. Tang Yun was still too immature, getting tricked by her just like that. Xiao Xiao didn't believe that Lin Yi wouldn't fall for her if she wasn't a threat to Tang Yun. Let's wait and see. Tang Yun sneered. Who's afraid of who? Lin Yi is back. I hope you will keep your promise. Tang Yun sis. Xiao Xiao called Tang Yun that because she wanted to solidify her identity as Tang Yun's mistress, so that Tang Yun couldn't go back on her word. Sure, little sister Xiao Xiao. Tang Yun purposely emphasized the words, little sister Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao was overjoyed. She was really lucky today. As long as Tang Yun didn't object, what did she have to worry about? Tang Yun, on the other hand, looked at Xiao Xiao's happy face, and her lips curled into a smile. Just who was the one who had the upper hand in this fight? Tang Yun wasn't an idiot at all. She'd cleverly used the conflict between her and Xiao Xiao to set up a trap for Xiao Xiao. She'd probably still think she was an idiot, right? But this was a win-win situation, wasn't it? When Lin Yi came back, Tang Yun gave Lin Yi a look of success, which surprised Lin Yi. Tang Yun and Xiao Xiao had some sort of secret agreement already. This made Lin Yi look at Tang Yun in a different light. But he pretended like he didn't know anything and put 3 bowls of wonton noodles on the table, 1 for each person. Xiao Xiao's bowl, however, didn't have any seaweed or shrimp in it. Why do I have less food than you guys? You're biased? Xiao Xiao realized that there was nothing in her soup. She thought that Lin Yi wouldn't be biased to this extent, would he? Seaweed and shrimp are seafood. I didn't put any in for you. Lin Yi said, you fainted after eating seafood in Yanjing. Are you allergic to seafood? Xiao Xiao looked at Lin Yi and Tang Yun's bowls and realized that hers was missing seaweed and shrimp. How did Lin Yi remember that? She almost forgot about it. Xiao Xiao felt a surge of warmth in her heart. It seemed that Lin Yi still cared about her, at least more than normal classmates. Yeah, but it's fine if it's just a little. Xiao Xiao said happily. Thank you for saving me when I fainted in the shower at the hotel last time. Xiao Xiao said that intentionally for Tang Yun to hear. She wanted to show how close she was with Lin Yi. But Tang Yun's face was very calm, as if it was something insignificant. She just said, oh, faintly, and didn't say anything else. In fact, Tang Yun already knew how Lin Yi felt about Lin Yi from the way he rejected Tianlong today. Lin Yi might have a good impression of Xiao Xiao, but Lin Yi wasn't at the level where he liked Xiao Xiao. Tianlong had asked Lin Yi to pursue Xiao Xiao today, and even Lin Yi was hesitant. How could he have anything to do with Xiao Xiao? So when Xiao Xiao said that they were going to shower, Tang Yun didn't think much of it. Xiao Xiao said it in a flirtatious way, but who knew what the real situation was? Plus, Tang Yun had made up her mind to make Lin Yi Xiao Xiao's fake boyfriend. Even if Xiao Xiao and Lin Yi did have something, Tang Yun would just close one eye. She would remind herself not to fight with someone who was about to die. It was meaningless. So what if she won? So what if she lost? Xiao Xiao's terminal illness had determined the outcome of this. She couldn't take Lin Yi away from her. Seeing that Tang Yun didn't care, Xiao Xiao felt like she was acting alone. She looked at Tang Yun and continued. Tang Yun sis, Lin Yi seems to be really nice to me. He even knows that I'm allergic to seafood. I'll remember that, too, Xiao Xiao lil sis. I won't order seafood when I go out to eat with you next time. Tang Yun's voice was calm, but the expression on her face was that of gritting her teeth. She couldn't take it anymore. Accepting Xiao Xiao and becoming friends with her was a process. No matter how generous Tang Yin was, she couldn't build a friendship with Xiao Xiao in one day. So Tang Yin had to act like she had no choice, As long as there was a gradual process, Xiao Xiao wouldn't be suspicious anymore. Seeing Tang Yin gritting her teeth made Xiao Xiao very happy. Tang Yin sis, you're regretting it, right? You got yourself a concubine just because you wanted to fight? Wahaha, I'm such a genius. Xiao Xiao, you're amazing. So smart. Xiao Xiao clenched her fists, her heart filled with hope and fighting spirit. Chapter 991. Did you regret it? Lin Yi looked at Tang Yun, then at Xiao Xiao, a suspicious look on his face. What's wrong with you guys? Are you guys talking in code? Nope. Haha. Tang Yun sis and I became good friends. Xiao Xiao said proudly. Right, Tang Yun sis. Yes. Tang Yun gritted her teeth. Lin Yi frowned, but didn't say anything. He lowered his head and started eating. Meng Yao and Yushu were sitting at a table not far from Lin Yi. Meng Yao looked away and said faintly, Let's eat, Shu. Yao Yao, that's Xiao Xiao. Why is she sitting with Shield Bro? Yushu didn't understand. Isn't she a love rival with Tang Yun? Who knows? Meng Yao shook her head, confused as well. Ever since Lin Yi sacrificed himself to save her, her attitude had changed a lot. She knew that Tang Yun was irreplaceable in Lin Yi's heart, and she didn't want to go against Tang Yun anymore. That would only put her in a more passive position. Oh, Yao Yao sis, do you think that Tang Yun is afraid? Did she find a mistress for Shield Bro to fight against us? Yushu guessed. Then why don't you go ask? Meng Yao frowned. Forget it. Yushu shook her head. Lin Yi, Tang Yun, and Xiao Xiao lowered their heads and ate their dumplings. Lin Yi and Tang Yun wanted to talk more with Xiao Xiao, but their relationship wasn't that good. They didn't have any common topics to talk about, so after a quick meal, they went back to class. When they walked out of the cafeteria, Xiao Xiao saw Lin Yi trying to hold Tang Yun's hand. She quickly grabbed Tang Yun's hand. Lin Yi, you go first. I want to talk to Tang Yun sis. Lin Yi frowned. What do you want to say? Say in front of me. Behind your back. Of course I can't let you hear it. Xiao Xiao said. Don't believe her, Yin Yin. Lin Yi said purposefully. If he didn't say anything and just let Xiao Xiao be with Tang Yun, that wasn't his style, and Xiao Xiao might get suspicious. Oh, Tang Yi nodded. And so, Lin Yi walked in front, with Xiao Xiao holding Tang Yun's hand at the back. Tang Yun sis, do you regret it? Xiao Xiao asked. Regret what? I didn't lose anything, Tang Yun said. Xiao Xiao thought to herself. Keep being stubborn, but when Lin Yi and I become a reality, you'll have no choice but to accept it. What are you snorting at? You're just a concubine. You still have to listen to me in the future, right? Tang Yun said. Fine, I'll listen to you. Xiao Xiao felt that Tang Yun was just trying to save face. The two had their own plans as they chatted and laughed as they returned to class. Lin Yi and Xiao Xiao entered the classroom as well. Xiao Xiao was very happy. She didn't expect Tang Yun to be this gullible, getting tricked with just a few words. What did you say to Tang Yun? Lin Yi asked Xiao Xiao after returning to his seat. In fact, Lin Yi was a bit curious as to what Tang Yun said to Xiao Xiao. Lin Yi knew that Tang Yun must have said something to make her happy, but Lin Yi and Tang Yun hadn't met up yet, so he didn't know the specifics. So, when they got back to class, Lin Yi just asked casually. Tang Yun said that she's going to find you a concubine. Xiao Xiao didn't hide it. She felt that she had to tell Lin Yi what Tang Yun wanted. Otherwise, even if Tang Yun agreed, Lin Yi wouldn't agree. It was pointless. Why? Lin Yi blinked. A concubine? Are you serious? Of course. Xiao Xiao nodded. It wouldn't be you, would it? Lin Yi asked. How'd you guess? Xiao Xiao blinked. Lin Yi didn't pay attention to her. Turning around and taking out his book, the head of House U, Danson, was an Earth class early phase and had entered the mysterious House U to train, focusing on the path of the heavens and stepping into Sky class. However, Danson was someone from the common world's House U. After all, every once in a while, he would call House U. But even if House U wanted to look for him, they wouldn't be able to find him. After all, when he was concentrating on his training, it could be 10 days or even a few months. He couldn't be disturbed. Today, Danson had just come out of seclusion, and he felt that he was about to break through from Earth-class early phase to Earth-class early phase peak. And so, he quickly called Shueishing to tell him the good news. To cheer him, and you bide up? Shueishing didn't know what to do these past 2 days. Houseu had dominated the common world for so many years, and everyone had to listen to them. Almost all the noble houses knew that Danson was an Earth class, and he had entered the hidden Houseu. All of a sudden, Houseu became the leader of the noble houses. All these years, Houseu had been doing the things of the noble houses, organizing noble house meetings and auctions. They were doing very well, unparalleled for a while. But all of this was broken by someone who came out of nowhere. Linny, just where did you come from? Shueishing gritted his teeth as he looked at the information on Lin Yi. It was a record of everything Lin Yi had done since he came to Songzhan. Every single thing he did was filled with absolute arrogance. Zhao Qibing of the Hidden House had his legs broken by Lin Yi twice, and his skyscraper destroyed twice. And the Hidden House, Zhao, had been holding back all this time. There must be something wrong with this. Shueishing regretted not thinking about all this before, thinking that Lin Yi didn't have the strength, so he followed the Xiao family and Zhao Qibing to cause trouble for Lin Yi. And so, his impulsive actions led to a disaster. Shueishing blamed himself and hated Lin Yi to the core. Now, Yu Bide was dead, and Yu Kuan was a cripple. How could he face his big brother Danson? Back then, when his big brother handed him the position of the head of the house, he entered the hidden Houseu alone, and his words were still fresh in his mind. He promised that Houseu would become more and more glorious, and hold the position of the #1 noble house. But how long had it been? Houseu was in such a huge mess. What should he do now? Houseu left in such an aggressive manner, and came back with 1 dead and 1 injured. Wouldn't they become the laughing stock of the other noble houses? Chapter 992. Chapter 990. Houseu's conversation, Lin Yi. If I don't kill you, Houseu won't have the face to be the head of the noble houses. We might as well be a dog's fart. Shueishing took a deep breath and said fiercely. But he knew that he had to hold it in. Houseu couldn't handle the storm anymore, and he had to hold it in before figuring out Lin Yi's background. In the study room, an urgent phone rang. This was Houseu's secret number. Usually, only people who had a close relationship with the family would know this number. Other than Houseu's inner circle, only the heads of the noble houses had access to this number. Hello, I'm Shueishing. Shueishing's thoughts were interrupted by the ringtone as he picked up the phone. Shueishing, I'm your big brother. Danson was very happy. Naturally, he had to share the news of his breakthrough with his second and third brothers first. Is Bide with you? Big brother. Shueishing heard Danson's voice, all the anger and grievance in his heart surging out. He couldn't help but feel his heart ache when his brother asked about you, Bide. Bide, he's not here. Oh, hurry and call him. I have something good to tell you two brothers. This is an exciting moment for Houseu. Danson didn't notice that Shueishing's emotions weren't right. After all, he couldn't see Shueishing's expression through the phone. I can't call him. Shueishing sighed, his voice sounding like he was about to cry. Big brother Bide's dead. Dead? What do you mean? Danson paused, not understanding what Shueishing was saying. What dead? Who's dead? You my third brother, he's dead. Shueishing said sadly. Big brother Bide's dead? What a horrible death. What? What did you say? You Bide's dead? How'd he die? Danson's mind went blank. He never would have thought that Bide would die. Wasn't this too strange? How long had it been since he left Houseu? Moreover, Bide was a cultivator and he rarely got sick. How could he die? Someone beat him up, and then a dog beat him to death. Shueishing said sternly. Third brother died a horrible death. Big brother, you have to help Bide. What did you say? Killed by a dog? Mercury, do you have a fever? It's not April Fool's today, is it? You Danson froze. Your third brother is an early phase mystic class master. Even if he's injured, how could he be killed by a dog? Plus, with House Yu's influence in the common world, who would dare to touch us? Big brother, why would I speak carelessly? Not only is third brother dead, but Yu Kuan is also crippled. Shueishin cried, Brother, there's a master called Lin Yi in the common world. He's very mysterious, and he doesn't play by the rules at all. Lin Yi? Never heard of it. What's going on? Tell me the details. Danson finally believed Shueishin's words. Even Yu Kuan was crippled. It seemed that this was no small matter. Danson's happiness from breaking through was all gone, replaced by helplessness. Big brother, it's like this. Shueishin didn't dare hide anything, starting from when House Yu brought out the map and told him everything in detail. After all, it was him and Shueishin's decision to bring out the map to attract people who knew about this. It wasn't Shueishin's fault. On the other side of the phone, Danson fell into silence after hearing Shueishin's words. He never would have thought that a normal merchant would have such a master by his side. But he'd never heard of this person before. According to Shueishin, this person was terrifyingly strong. Such a heavy injury, yet he recovered so quickly and even turned a dying dog into a practitioner dog. Danson couldn't help but sigh. It's not that I'm looking down on myself, but even the hidden House Yu doesn't have this kind of strength. Even if someone from House Yu was injured, they wouldn't be able to become a master in such a short amount of time, let alone turning a dog into a practitioner dog. According to what you said, if that dog killed third brother, he's at least a golden class. Yeah, big brother, this is also why I didn't dare say anything. As a mystic late phase, it's easy for me to kill that Lin Yi kid, but I didn't dare to do it. Who knows what kind of power Lin Yi has behind him? I'm afraid that I'll bring disaster to House Yu if I'm not careful. Shueishin said, Thank goodness you didn't act rashly, or the consequences would have been unimaginable. Danson sighed. Big brother, what should I do now? Are we just going to let this go? Can you ask the hidden House Yu to help us? Shueishin couldn't help but feel hopeless after hearing what his big brother had said. You know that I've just come to House Yu, and my position here is very low. I can't even talk to the core members of the hidden House Yu. There are many early phase Earth-class masters here, and I'm just one of them. Danson sighed. The only thing you can do now is to find out more about Lin Yi's background. Even if you ask House Yu to help, you have to know about Lin Yi's background first. Otherwise, the hidden House Yu wouldn't make a move so rashly. Then that's the only way. Shueishin was a little disappointed. He wanted his big brother to get revenge from the hidden House Yu, but it seemed like his big brother wasn't doing very well either. There was nothing he could do. Shueishin, don't be impulsive. Remember, revenge is a dish best served cold. Danson said, I'm not here for nothing. Earth-class masters can't come out easily, but if there's an important reason, you can apply to the Hidden House Council. As long as you find out about Lin Yi's background, and we can afford to mess with him, I'll apply to come out. All right, I'll send Lin Feng to Songshan right now to find out about Lin Yi's background. We can't just let this go. Shueishin was filled with fighting spirit after hearing his big brother's words. As long as his big brother came out, Lin Yi would die for sure. But the problem was, what kind of power did Lin Yi have behind him? Man, forget it. Life, death, sickness, and death, my condolences. Danson was more open-minded than Shueishin. Those who practice martial arts, if they don't pursue the path of the heavens, they'll leave it one day. I've gotten a lot more open-minded here. Chapter 993. Are you jealous? It's nothing. I just want to tell you that I'm about to break through to Earth-class early phase peak, but it doesn't seem like it's good news anymore. Danson sighed. Has things been going too smoothly for our House Yu these past few years? Then I must congratulate you, big brother. Shueishin smiled bitterly, not feeling happy at all. This was supposed to be a good thing, but now he was drowning in sorrow. All right, I'm hanging up. Training time's almost up. Danson said. All right, big brother, call us often when you have time. Shueishin said. After hanging up, Shueishin called Yu Feng to his study. Now, Yu Feng was the only one in House Yu who could discuss matters. Yu Kuan was lying on his sickbed, depressed. There was no way he could recover his strength, and other than sighing every day, he would cry in front of his father's portrait. Shueishin blamed himself. Father, You were looking for me? Yufeng pushed the door open and asked carefully. And your uncle called? Shuaishing said as he looked at his son. Your uncle is about to break through to Earth class early phase peak. It's good news, but for the current house you, it's not that great of a news. Yeah, we'd be really happy if it were any other time. Yufeng sighed. Father, then what does uncle say about third uncle? Your uncle hasn't gotten a firm foothold in the hidden house you yet, and he can't use their power. He can't just come out like that, either. Shuaishing said, but your uncle's suggestion is to find out more about Linny first and see what kind of background Linny has. Then, Father, you're saying that we should stick to our original plan and have me go to Songshan? Yufeng asked quickly. Yes, that's what I'm thinking. Shuaishing nodded. This time, you're not going to Songshan under House Yu's name. Lin, he hasn't seen you, and he won't suspect you. Change your name, and I'll transfer you to Lin Yi's school. You just need to investigate Lin Yi's background. Understand. Then Lin Yi and I can't have a direct confrontation, right? Yufeng nodded and asked. That's not it. According to my investigation, Lin Yi treats different people differently. Shuaishing opened the file in his hand and pushed it to Yufeng. Take a look. Lin Yi's never killed any of his classmates. Yufeng took the information from his father and carefully looked through it. Indeed, according to the information, Lin Yi had never been ruthless towards his classmates. Even if they provoked him, it was just a simple lesson. If that's the case, then I don't have to worry too much. Yufeng said after looking at the information. Plus, if we were to really compare strength, I'm a mystic early phase peak, and I can beat him for sure. Xiaofeng, remember, you can't casually reveal your strength. Shuaishing waved his hand and said solemnly, when you transfer, I'm preparing to give you the identity of a rich second-generation young master. You can compete with Lin Yi, but that's only within the school. It's a competition between classmates. Even if you want to fight, you have to do it in the dark. Don't fight him in the open, understand? Understand. Yufeng nodded. As long as I don't fight him, it'll be fine. I won't let him know that I'm a practitioner, and I won't reveal that I'm from House Yu. I'll gather intel on Lin Yi from the side. That's right. Shuaishing nodded. All right, go prepare yourself. I'll handle the enrollment procedures for you right now. Lin Yi turned his head because the homeroom teacher, Miss Liu, had already entered the classroom. The classroom quietened down. After all, 12th graders had high self-awareness, and the teacher's arrival meant that class was about to start. Those who stayed here for the night study were all students who loved to study. However, this time, Teacher Liu didn't walk in alone. Beside her, there was a very handsome boy who had reached the point of being extremely handsome. There were two other boys behind him, but they weren't as eye-catching. One was short and chubby, like a pickle cabbage jar, and the other was tall and skinny, like a bamboo pole. He looked like the fat monk from Jin Yang's wuxia dramas. The handsome boy attracted a wave of girls as he entered the classroom. After all, 12th graders were in love, and most girls would instinctively admire handsome boys. This person's handsomeness was completely different from Lin Yi's. Lin Yi was more of the manly type, while this boy could only be described as exquisite. Everyone quiet down. I'll introduce our new classmates. Miss Liu brought the exquisite boy to the front of the class podium and said to everyone, these three are our new transfer students, Xie Yufeng, Li Penghu, and Wang Songming. He was a transfer student from Southern Blue. Next, student Xie will introduce himself to everyone. Everyone, please give him a round of applause. Boys like Xie Yufeng were very popular with the girls, and the first impression they had of him was definitely more pleasing to the eye than Lin Yi. And so, Xie Yufeng's appearance drew a huge round of applause. Xie Yufeng elegantly tidied his hair and made a shushing gesture before smiling and looking at the students below the podium. The Xie Yufeng in front of her had sexy lips, a tall nose, and under his eyebrows was a pair of long and narrow eyes covered with thick eyelashes. His eyes were like a bottomless pool of black water, and his clear eyes shone with a faint light like a starstone. This kind of exquisite appearance was definitely a killer for young girls, a killer move. Hello, everyone. My name is Xie Yufeng, and I'm from Nanxing, a coastal city in the south. Because of my family's business, I transferred to Songshan's first school. I hope we can become good friends. Thank you, Xie Yufeng said elegantly to the students. I have many hobbies. I'm good at basketball, football, singing. This guy's so handsome. Xiao Xiao couldn't help but exclaim after seeing Xie Yufeng. Really? That's great. You can sit with him later. Lin Yi smiled. Chapter 994. New transfer student. Why would I be jealous of him? I'm more than happy that you like him and don't bother me anymore. Lin Yi said nonchalantly. Who said I like him? Why would I like him? Xiao Xiao shook her head. He's handsome, but people like him are just a side character. In novels and dramas, they're all tragic characters. Oh, Lin Yi paused and looked at Xiao Xiao curiously. You've seen Slam Dunk, right? Isn't Rukawa Kid very handsome? But he's just a side character. Xiao Xiao said, Look, you're not as handsome as him, but you're like Sakuraji Hanamichi. Lin Yi didn't expect Xiao Xiao's theory to be this interesting. He couldn't help but laugh. That's why I still like you, Xiao Xiao said. Lin Yi didn't say anything, only looking at Yufeng with interest. Xie Yufeng? What was the reason for him to transfer here at this time? Lin Yi wouldn't believe that this Xie Yufeng didn't have any ulterior motives. Don't forget that Lin Yi had a special cheat. He could sense the strength of a spiritual practitioner. Even if the spiritual practitioner didn't use their arts to show their strength, Lin Yi would still be able to sense their strength. What surprised Lin Yi the most was that this Xie Yufeng had the strength of a mystic early phase peak spiritual practitioner. A person like this came here to study. Then wasn't this master a little too worthless? Any random person could be a master? But what shocked Lin Yi was Yufeng's youth. He looked like he was only 19, and he already had the strength of a mystic early phase peak. His strength was about the same as Lin Yi's. One had to know that Lin Yi had just leveled up a few times recently, reaching the middle phase of mystic division. Xie Yufeng. Lin Yi memorized this name. It didn't matter why he was here. As long as he didn't mess with him, it'd be fine. If he messed with him, then don't blame him for being impolite. This Xie Yufeng was still introducing himself non-stop on the stage, but Xiao Xiao didn't seem to care about him at all. After one compliment, she didn't even look at him anymore. She turned back to Lin Yi. I think you're more handsome than him. Lin Yi, I will definitely make you my boyfriend. Then what about Tang Yun? Lin Yi asked back. She's the main wife. I'm the second wife. Xiao Xiao said. Isn't that fine? Nothing will be affected. Lin Yi was speechless. Why did this girl look a little like Yushu? They were both mischievous and mischievous. Lin Yi thought about it carefully. Apart from their different styles, the two of them had something in common. Meng Yao and Yushu, on the other hand, were talking about Xie Yufeng. Meng Yao raised her head when Miss Liu was introducing the new students. She looked at the three students on the podium without any emotion in her eyes, as if she was just trying to recognize them. Meng Yao's eyes were devoid of emotion. She looked at Yufeng, Peng Hu, and Song Ming in the same way, not lingering on anyone's face for too long. After looking at them, Meng Yao turned her attention back to her English book. Yao sis, look, that Xie Yufeng is quite handsome. Yushu said, Oh, so you don't like your shield bro anymore? Meng Yao smiled. How is that possible? Yushu shook her head. Can being handsome make a living? Shield bro can roast shark meat for me, so I still like shield bro. Huh, Meng Yao chuckled. I thought you'd fallen in love with someone else. I'm just a small wife. If Yao Yao doesn't fall in love with someone else, how could I fall in love with someone else? Yushu said. Oh, Meng Yao replied meaninglessly. Lin Yi didn't know what she was trying to say. On the stage, Yufeng had finished his self-introduction, and the crowd applauded him again. He moved slightly to the side, letting Peng Hu and So Ming come up. I'm Peng Hu, Master Xie's bodyguard. Peng Hu didn't hide his identity at all, shaking his fat body as he spoke. I'm So Ming, Master Xie's strategist. So Ming did a simple self-introduction, not hiding his identity at all. These two came with Yufeng, and their goal was simple. They wanted to be Yufeng's followers. They could run errands for him if he needed help. Wadash, the crowd gasped. In this day and age, It wasn't rare for a rich young master to come to a private school like Songshan's first school, but it was rare to see two lackeys with him. Moreover, these two followers didn't hide their identity, which made the female students in the class a little envious. This was what a rich young master should be like, having a bodyguard and strategist with him when he went out. So cool. Only those popular Hong Kong dramas would have scenes like this. Yao Yao. He has followers too, but they're a far cry from Shield Bro. They're just two idiots. Yushu said, giving Penghu and Songming a direct evaluation. Maybe someone likes to bring two idiots out. Meng Yao wasn't interested in whether or not Yufeng had lackeys. It had nothing to do with her. The homeroom teacher, Mr. Liu, frowned after hearing Penghu and Songming's introduction. He didn't know what this Yufeng's background was, but he heard that he was introduced by someone from the school, and his family was powerful, but he didn't know what he did. However, Teacher Liu felt that it was a bit too much to bring along two attendants, a bodyguard and a military counselor when they went to school. After all, the chairman's daughter, Meng Yao, was also in the same class, and she didn't have any special treatment, bringing a bodyguard and strategist. In fact, the miss also had a bodyguard and strategist, but the bodyguard was Lin Yi, and the strategist was Yushu. Under the podium, Pin Liang and Xiaofu were also analyzing Yufeng's background. Liang bro, where did this Xie Yufeng come from? Why did he bring two lackeys with him? Didn't he steal your limelight, Liang bro? Xiaofu said, unhappily. Chapter 995. The Singing Competition. Who cares where he's from? It has nothing to do with us. Pin Liang said calmly. If he wants to be the boss, then let him be. As long as he doesn't mess with us, let him be. Oh, Liang bro, why are you so calm now? Xiaofu was surprised by Pin Liang's words. Fighting for the title of young thug, or boss, is something only a kid would do, Pin Liang said with a wave of his hand. We're mature now. We don't do that anymore. The Real Masters keep a low profile. Oh, I understand. Gao Xiaofu quickly nodded. We'll watch from the sidelines. If this Yufeng can go up against Lin Yi, then that'll be great. If not, then it has nothing to do with us. Pin Liang said faintly. All right, the three of you can sit at the right back of the classroom for now. Teacher Liu pointed at the back of the classroom. There's an empty table there. Since you three know each other, you can sit together. If there's a suitable seat, I'll arrange it again. Teacher Liu wanted Yufeng to sit at the front, but it seemed like they weren't here to study, so Teacher Liu treated them coldly. But Yufeng and the other two weren't picky. It didn't matter where they sat. Teacher Liu told them to sit at the back of the classroom, and Yufeng nodded politely. Yes, teacher. Seeing that Yufeng didn't object and was even being polite, Teacher Liu's impression of Yufeng changed a little. Maybe Yufeng's family arranged for him to be a follower, and it had nothing to do with him. Lin Yi looked at Yufeng and shook his head when he realized that he wasn't looking at him. Was he being too cautious? But just when Lin Yi looked away, Yufeng's eyes shot towards Lin Yi. It was only for an instant, but he looked away and continued walking to his seat. How strong was Lin Yi's sixth sense? Lin Yi noticed Yufeng's gaze. Yufeng was looking at him. Why is he looking at me? Was it because she was looking at him? One had to know that the senses of mystics were very strong. As long as Lin Yi didn't try to hide it, then Yufeng would be able to tell that Lin Yi was looking at him. It was normal for him to look back. All right, after introducing the new students, I have something to announce. Teacher Liu waited until Yufeng, Penghu, and Songming sat down before continuing. In order to relieve everyone's stress, to add some fun to the boring 12th grade life, and to let everyone relax, the school has decided to hold a singing competition for the 12th grade. First, they would compete in the class, and the winners would advance to the year finals. Of course, this activity was not compulsory. Students who were interested in singing could sign up. They could sing solo or in a group. Those who did not know how to sing could also be in the audience. Of course, it doesn't matter if you're tone deaf. You can still rap and sing. Aren't rappers popular now? Teacher Liu's words caused the students in the class to burst into laughter. The 12th grade life was indeed boring, so the occasional small activity would make everyone excited. The singing competition was often held around the time of the first and second years of high school's art festival. At that time, it was not a big deal, but once they entered the third year of high school, the stressful study life made many students feel suffocated. The only group activities they had were also very precious. So, Teacher Lou's words got the support of most of the students. Everyone cheered. When you're tired from studying at night, you can practice singing. Although it's just entertainment, if you can get a place in your grade, it's still a very glorious thing. Teacher Lou said, I hope everyone can sign up. The top 10 of your grade will get a scholarship of 1,000 to 10,000 yuan. Wow. Everyone was even more excited when they heard that they could get a prize. There were indeed some rich students in Songshan's first school, but most of them got in based on their results. These students didn't come from good families, so 10,000 yuan was a lot. If he could get a 10,000 yuan stipend just by singing a song, it would still be worth it. As a result, some of the students who were just here to watch the show were eager to sign up. Yao Yao, are we participating in the singing competition? Yushu asked. Of course. Meng Yao nodded. Let's go practice later. Meng Yao's father was a board member of the school board, and as the miss of the school, it was only natural that she would support and participate in all the activities organized by the school. So, every time there was an art festival, sports event, and so on, Meng Yao would always sign up. Meng Yao didn't want people to criticize her. Her identity was very sensitive, so she had to set an example. It's not good to do it at home. Our house isn't as good as KTV. Let's go practice at KTV. Yushu was more of a playful person. KTV? Meng Yao hesitated, but Yushu was right. The karaoke system in the house had been renovated, and they rarely touched it. The songs on it hadn't been updated yet, and they didn't even know if they could still use it. Going to KTV to practice was the easiest way. But Meng Yao heard that KTV was a place where people from the underworld often went. It wasn't safe for her and Shu to go together. Then let's bring Lin Yi with us. Send him a text and ask him if he's free tonight. Oh, okay. Yushu was going to bring Lin Yi with her, even if Meng Yao didn't mention it. Right, let's bring Tang Yun as well. Meng Yao felt that it wouldn't be good if they brought Lin Yi without Tang Yun, so she told Shu. Tang Yun? Okay. Yushu nodded unwillingly. She subconsciously saw Tang Yun as her rival in love, but Yao Yao seemed to have accepted Tang Yun all of a sudden. Yushu wasn't used to it. At that moment, Lin Yi was talking to Xiao Xiao about the singing competition. Lin Yi, are you participating in the singing competition? Xiao Xiao asked. I don't know how to sing. Lin Yi said faintly. You don't know how to sing? I'll teach you. I know how to sing. We could do a group? Xiao Xiao suggested. Chapter 996. Chapter 994 verified it wasn't that Lin Yi wasn't interested, but he really didn't know how to sing. When it came to singing, Lin Yi had only heard his old man hum a couple of songs from the 70s and 80s. As for the current songs, Lin Yi had never heard of them before. He didn't even know who the superstar Su Shirhan was. And so, Lin Yi decided not to sign up for the singing competition at all. Maybe me and Tang Yin Sis, the three of us, can form a singing group. Xiao Xiao continued to tempt Lin Yi. Look, you have two beauties, big and small. Isn't that great? Oh, you can ask Tang Yin then. Lin Yi felt that he'd rejected enough, and it was time for him to compromise a little. Pretending to be someone else's boyfriend wasn't easy at all. He couldn't let Xiao Xiao know that he was a fake, and he had to accept her step by step. To be honest, this was harder than leveling up for Lin Yi. Luckily, it wasn't as if Lin Yi didn't like Xiao Xiao at all. At least in Yinjing, Lin Yi had a new understanding of this weird girl. Lin Yi didn't respond to Xiao Xiao's confession, mainly because he didn't know her true intentions. Lin Yi was afraid that she'd hurt Tang Yun, so he ignored her. But now that Tang Yun knew the truth, and Lin Yi was under orders to hit on girls, he turned back to Xiao Xiao. Lin Yi felt that she was quite cute. At least she was a straightforward person and dared to take responsibility for what she did. She might be a little messy sometimes, but thinking about her pitiful life, Lin Yi could understand. I'll text her right now. Xiao Xiao happily took out her phone to text Tang Yun after hearing Lin Yi agree. But before she could send the text, Lin Yi's phone came in first. Lin Yi opened his phone and saw that it was a message from Yushu. Shield bro, Yao Yao sis, and I are going to KTV to practice singing tonight. Will you protect us? You can bring your family members along. Family members? Lin couldn't help but smile at Yushu's message. It was rare that the Miss and Shu's attitude towards Tang Yun had changed. At least they weren't as hostile as before. This was a good thing. Little Shu asked politely, but Lin had no reason to refuse, so he replied, "Okay. Who's texting you?" Xiao Xiao thought it was Tang Yun who was texting Lin, so she stopped typing. "Yushu," Lin said. "She asked me to go to the KTV with them tonight to practice." "Then I'll go too," Xiao Xiao said quickly. Lin thought about it. Since the Miss allowed Lin to bring people along, then it wouldn't matter if Xiao Xiao went alone. He nodded. "All right, can you text Tang Yun?" "Okay, I'll text her right now," Xiao Xiao said happily after seeing that Lin agreed. The singing competition was organized by the entire 12th grade, so Miss Lu was notifying everyone in Lin Yi's class, and so was Tang Yun's class. Tang Yun got Xiao Xiao's text, saying that she was going to the KTV with Lin tonight. She didn't even think about it before agreeing. After all, Tang Yun wanted to create more chances for Xiao Xiao to interact with Lin. Who knew what her future would be like? "Lin, Tang Yun agreed. "She's coming with us," Xiao Xiao said excitedly. She didn't think that Tang Yun would accept her this easily. It seemed that as long as she worked hard, she wouldn't have to worry about Lin not liking her anymore. "What did you say to Tang Yun? You weren't that close with her before?" Lin asked. "Friendship between girls, you wouldn't understand." Xiao Xiao brushed it off. Lin didn't ask anymore after hearing Xiao Xiao's words. Of course he knew that this was Tang Yun's way of showing her friendliness, but he could only pretend that he didn't know. If he wasn't curious at all, then there would be a problem. After school, Lin was about to call the Miss to ask where they were going when he saw that the Miss and Yushu had already packed their bags and turned to Lin. Lin had been driving them to school for the past few days, so there was no need to hide their relationship anymore. Lin put down the phone and walked over to them, with Xiao Xiao following closely behind him. "Where are we going tonight?" Lin asked after walking over. "I don't know. Do you know any good karaoke places?" Meng Yao had never been to a place like this before. "Let's just look around then." Lin said, "There was a karaoke place next to me when I went to play pool last time. Let's go there then." Meng Yao nodded and looked at Shu. "Oh, Shield Bro, did you bring your family?" Yushu remembered that Meng Yao told her to let Lin take care of Tang Yun. I did. My family is here." Xiao Xiao raised her hand before Lin could say anything. "You?" Yushu's eyes went wide as she looked at Xiao Xiao, confused. "I'm looking for Shield Bro's family. Who the hell are you?" "I'm his family. You're the onion. You're the garlic." Xiao Xiao was a little unhappy as she glared at Yushu. "You? What family are you?" Yushu blinked, not expecting Xiao Xiao to come out here for. Meng Yao, on the other hand, was troubled as well. Why was Xiao Xiao with Lin claiming to be Lin Yi's family? But with the Miss personality, as long as Tang Yun didn't push her too hard like last time at Fatty Lai's house, she wouldn't say anything. "I'm Lin Yi's small wife." Xiao Xiao looked at Yushu proudly. "Huh? You're Shield Bro's small wife?" "Impossible. I'm Shield Bro's small wife." Yushu glared at Xiao Xiao. "You? Aren't you the best friend of Lin Yi's employer? Why are you pretending to be a small wife? Did you get Lin Yi's approval? Or did you get Lin Yi's big wife Tang Yun's approval?" Xiao Xiao mocked as she looked at Yushu. "Yao Yao is Shield Bro's big wife. I'm his small wife. Do I need approval?" Yushu didn't want to lose. "Then who did you get approval from?" "I got approval from Tang Yun's small wife." Xiao Xiao humphed. "What about you? You didn't get approval, did you? Even if you did, you're still a fake small wife." "I got approval from Shield Bro. You're the fake small wife." Yushu humphed as well. "Ask Shield Bro if you don't believe me." Chapter 997. Clash of Rivals. Shield Bro, is this dumb girl your little wife? Yushu looked at Lin pitifully. Lin smiled bitterly. He didn't think that Tang Yun and Xiao Xiao wouldn't get into a fight, but Yushu and Xiao Xiao got into a fight first. Yushu was weird, and Xiao Xiao was weird. The two were at loggerheads, neither willing to give in to the other. They weren't even at the KTV yet, and they were already fighting in the classroom. But just when Lin Yi was in a difficult spot, someone came to his rescue. It was Xie Yufeng. Yufeng walked up to the podium with Peng Hu and Song Ming by his side. Everyone quiet down. Young Master Xie wants to say something to everyone. Li Peng Hu was the first to speak. The students in the class were all curious about this new transfer student. Hearing that he had something to say, the students who were packing their bags and preparing to leave school all looked up at him. Hello, everyone. I'm new to this class, and I don't have much I can help you with. I'm just in time for the school's singing competition, so I'm going to invite everyone to practice at the KTV tonight. I hope you can come. Yufeng said elegantly to the students, as if he wasn't inviting them to practice, but they were giving him face by doing so. One had to say, this Xie Yufeng really knew how to act. This made everyone instinctively have a good impression of him. With that, he looked around the class, not stopping on anyone. His main focus was on Lin Yi's movements. Seeing the three beauties around Lin Yi, he couldn't help but feel annoyed. There were three beauties in the class, and all of them seemed to have some sort of relationship with Lin Yi. This made Yufeng very unhappy. Wherever he went, he was the center of attention, and there were many beauties throwing themselves at him. But here, because of Lin Yi, something seemed to have changed. Xie Yufeng was House Yu's Yufeng. He came here just to add a surname in front of his name. Peng Hu and Song Ming, of course, were just random names. Their real identity was that of House Yu's servants. Yufeng's goal in coming to Songsan this time was to find out about Lin Yi's background, but he didn't want to come here for nothing. He wanted to have some fun. House Yu's teachings were stricter, and he didn't have many chances to hit on girls. He did have beauties throwing themselves at him in school, but he didn't want his father to find out, so he didn't dare go overboard. He only did some one-night stands. Now that he was in Songsan, the mountains were high and the emperor was far away. Yufeng really wanted to have some fun, especially when he realized that there were a lot of beauties in his class. Of course, Yufeng already had two targets in mind. One was Chu Pengzhan's daughter, Chu Mingyao. If he were to play with Chu Mingyao, he would be able to avenge Yu Kun. The other target was naturally Lin Yi's girlfriend. Yufeng didn't know who Lin Yi's girlfriend was, but it didn't matter. Whichever girl was close to Lin Yi, Yufeng would get his hands on her. He couldn't fight Lin Yi head-on, but putting on a green hat to disgust him wasn't a bad start. Many people agreed with Yufeng's words. There were guys and girls, and it wasn't a bad idea to go out and have some fun without spending money. What disappointed Yufeng was that among the people who came to him for karaoke, there weren't any Lin Yi, Mingyao, Yu Shu, or Xiao Xiao. Through Song Ming's investigation, Yufeng already knew who Mingyao, Yu Shu, and Xiao Xiao were. Mingyao would actively participate in school activities, but she wasn't interested in the activities organized by her classmates. She wasn't familiar with Yufeng either, so she wouldn't go to karaoke with them. All right, Shu, stop arguing. Mingyao looked at Xiao Xiao meaningfully. She didn't know when she became Lin Yi's small wife again, but she kept saying that it was Tang Yun's approval. This made Mingyao feel weird. Would Tang Yun let Xiao Xiao become Lin Yi's small wife? Mingyao couldn't believe it. Xiao Xiao hadn't been going to school for a while, and Mingyao had even forgotten about her. She didn't think that Xiao Xiao would have anything to do with Tang Yun, so this was very strange. Looking at Lin Yi's non-committal expression, the Miss felt uncomfortable. If it weren't for Lin Yi risking his life to save her, the Miss would have flipped out on the spot. But she didn't do that. She only told Shu to stop arguing. Yao Yao, this Xiao Xiao is very suspicious. I suspect that she's up to no good. We can't bring her with us. Yushu looked at Xiao Xiao with hostility. This girl was trying to steal her small wife position. How could she let that happen? Forget it. Let's go find Tang Yun first. Mingyao felt that there was no point in fighting Xiao Xiao with Yushu right now. She'd know what Xiao Xiao was trying to do once she saw Tang Yun. Oh, then I'll let you enjoy being the small wife for a while. Yushu said to Xiao Xiao, I think you're the one who's delusional. If you're the small wife, then who's the big wife? It's not Mingyao, is it? As far as I know, she's Lin Yi's employer. You guys really are delusional. Xiao Xiao didn't back down. Yushu wanted to say something, but Mingyao stopped her. Shu, oh. Yushu glared at Xiao Xiao and grabbed Mingyao's hand, walking out of the classroom with her. Lin Yi smiled bitterly and followed. He didn't know what to do with Xiao Xiao. He couldn't explain it to the Miss and Shu in front of her, either. He could only tell them in detail when they got back to the villa. Who knew how many misunderstandings they'd have in the future? On Yufeng's side, he was happily chatting with the girls and boys, discussing which KTV to go to, but his eyes were on Lin Yi and the others leaving the classroom. Oomph, I'll let you be happy for now. Yufeng smiled coldly in his heart as he retracted his gaze. He didn't stop his activities just because Lin Yi and Meng Yao didn't participate. Lin might not be there, but Yufeng wasn't an idiot. He needed to build up his relationship with his classmates. This was the only way he could stand firm in the class and do whatever he wanted. Lin Yi, Meng Yao, Yushu, and Xiao Xiao left the classroom and came to Class 9. Chapter 998. It was a tie. Tang Yun sis. Xiao Xiao quickly ran over and held Tang Yun's hand. Meng Yao frowned slightly as she looked at Xiao Xiao, then at Tang Yun, trying to figure out what was going on. Tang Yun, she said that she's Shield Bro's small wife, and that it's been verified by you? Meng Yao didn't want to ask, but Yushu didn't care. Tang Yun tensed up. She'd forgotten about Meng Yao and Yushu's feelings. Tang Yun wasn't stupid. A woman's intuition told her that Meng Yao and Yushu felt for Lin Yi. She was Lin Yi's girlfriend, and while Meng Yao and Yushu were helpless about it, they still accepted it as a fact. But with Xiao Xiao popping out of nowhere, there was no way they'd be happy. But in front of Xiao Xiao, Tang Yun couldn't explain it to Meng Yao and Yushu. She could only nod helplessly. Yes, she's Lin Yi's small wife. Meng Yao's face changed after hearing Tang Yun's confirmation. She felt wronged. What was the meaning of this? She'd already let go of her misattitude and started befriending Tang Yun. And now she found a small wife for Lin Yi? Even if he was looking for a small wife, shouldn't it be Shu? What was up with this Xiao Xiao? Her heart hurt, but she felt that it was because of Shu. Yes, it was because of Shu. Shu, this is their family matter. Why we have to be so nosy? Meng Yao turned around and held Shu's hand, looking at Lin Yi faintly. Let's meet at that KTV. Shu, let's go. Oh, Yushu looked at Lin. Shield bro, you disappoint me. This small wife sucks. With that, Yushu left with Meng Yao before Xiao Xiao could say anything. Xiao Xiao wanted to say something, but she could only keep it to herself. Watching Miss and Shu leave, Lin Yi smiled bitterly and sighed. He was afraid that they were really angry this time. However, what could Lin Yi say? Lin Yi glanced at Tang Yun and realized that she was also looking at him with a bitter smile. Lin Yi could only give her a comforting look. Meng Yao grabbed Yushu's hand and strode down the stairs. Ow, Yao Yao, you're hurting me. Yushu cried out in pain as Meng Yao squeezed her hand. I'm sorry. Meng Yao realized that she'd used too much force. It's okay, Yao Yao sis, I'm a little sad. I'm so disappointed with Shield Bro. Yushu's heart was hurting as well. She had always thought that Shield Bro liked her, and as long as Tang Yun nodded, he would accept her in Yao Yao. But now, maybe it's not Lin Yi's fault. Can't you see that bitter smile on his face? Meng Yao was looking more closely. Maybe it's that Xiao Xiao's problem. Oh, I got it. It must be Tang Yun. She thinks that Yao Yao and I are a threat to her, so she found a small wife to fight against us. Yushu suddenly had an idea. Yao Yao sis, look at that Xiao Xiao. Her personality is pretty similar to mine. She probably found her based on me. That way, Tang Yun would be tied with us 2-2, and our advantage would be gone. Wow. Meng Yao's eyes went wide. Wasn't Shu's theory a little too shocking? In order to fight against her, Tang Yun found a small wife, similar to Yushu. Meng Yao found it unbelievable. After all, this didn't seem like Tang Yun's style. Yao Yao sis, did you notice? Tang Yun seems to be getting her breasts booty. I just saw that her breasts are getting bigger. Yushu continued her analysis, but her boobs are big, but that only makes up for one of her disadvantages. She can't play 3P with Shield Bro alone, so she had no choice but to find a small wife so that they can play 3P with Shield Bro as well. Yushu's words shocked Meng Yao to the core. Meng Yao thought that Yushu's theory was a little ridiculous, but who knew if Tang Yun was thinking the same thing? She admitted that Xiao Xiao was Lin Yi's small wife, Meng Yao was a little annoyed. Even if she is, it's Tang Yun's doing. It has nothing to do with Lin. Yeah. I knew that Shield Bro wouldn't abandon us. Yushu was happy again at the thought. She waved her fist. Yao sis, look, you want to treat Tang Yun better, but how does she treat us? Getting a small wife to fight against us? Why don't we fight her till the end? What does it have to do with us if she finds a few wives for Linny? Meng Yao said faintly. Forget it, Shu. Yushu looked at Meng Yao, wanting to say something but didn't. The two went downstairs and got into Falbert's Bentley. Meng Yao told Falbert to go to Tiandy Entertainment on the business street. Lin Yi, Tang Yun, and Xiao Xiao left the school together. Xiao, you're driving your own Audi TT? Lin Yi wanted to get Xiao Xiao away from him and discuss a plan with Tang Yun. He wanted to call the miss and explain. He could tell that the miss and Shu were really angry. No, I'll go with you guys. Xiao Xiao shook her head. She didn't want to drive herself. Linny nodded and didn't say anything. He was driving Yushu's Beetle, and Xiao Xiao sat in the back, giving the front seat to Tang Yun. Linny found it funny. This Xiao Xiao had the awareness of being a small wife. Although Lin Yi agreed to Tianlong's request, Lin Yi had prepared for the worst-case scenario. He wanted Xiao Xiao to completely fall out with Tang Yun, and Tang Yun would have to endure it silently. But now, he didn't know what Tang Yun did, but Xiao Xiao accepted Tang Yun and willingly became a small wife. In the car, Tang Yun wanted to talk to Xiao Xiao about Meng Yao and Yushu, but she wasn't that close with Xiao Xiao. She didn't want to mess things up. In fact, from Tang Yun's perspective, she understood Meng Yao and Yushu very well. As far as they were concerned, even if Lin Yi were to find another girlfriend, it would be the two of them. Now that he found Xiao Xiao, how could they feel good about it? Hopefully, after Lin Yi explained things to them tonight, they would understand her and Xiao Xiao. In front of Tianyi KTV, Lin Yi saw Falbert's Bentley. Chapter 999. Chapter 997, Led Astray by Shu Mingyao and Yushu, who were in the Bentley, got out of the car as well when they saw Lin Yi. The miss had returned to her usual cold and arrogant self, treating Lin Yi and Tang Yun coldly, just like how she was at the beginning. Lin Yi, go get a room. Meng Yao spoke to Lin Yi as if he was just a follower. Okay. Lin Yi didn't say much, only nodding. However, when Lin Yi and the others were about to enter the KTV, a couple of taxis stopped in front of the KTV, and the people who got out of the taxis were all students from Class 5, including Xie Yufeng. Evidently, Xie Yufeng had chosen this KTV as well. He didn't mean to come to the same KTV with Lin Yi, but Tianyi KTV was one of the more luxurious places in Songshan, and it was recommended by his classmates. Truly, one could wear out iron shoes in fruitless search, only to find it by chance. A faint smile appeared on Xie Yufeng's face. He had already given up on interacting with Lin Yi tonight, but the two of them came to the same KTV at the same time. Students, you guys are from Class 5 too, right? You guys look familiar. Xie Yufeng got out of the car and walked towards Lin Yi and the others. Lin Yi saw Xie Yufeng walking towards Meng Yao, but he stopped and stood a meter away from Meng Yao. This Xie Yufeng was a master at the peak of the early phase of mystic class. Lin Yi didn't know where he came from, so he had to be on guard. If he suddenly attacked Meng Yao, Lin Yi would be able to block him in time. At this distance, Lin Yi could stop him before he attacked, or even kill him. Yes, what's the matter? Meng Yao didn't want to get involved with them, but she couldn't just ignore them when they came over to greet her. Meng Yao always reminded herself that the daughter of the school board needed to be more mindful of her image. Hee, we're also here to practice singing. Why don't we do it together? It'll be livelier this way. Yufeng glanced at Tang Yun, Xiao Xiao, and Yushu from the corner of his eyes, especially when his gaze landed on Yushu's breasts. An evil light flashed in his eyes. If he could hold in his hands, it would definitely feel great, right? Tang Yun and Xiao Xiao. Both of them were stunning beauties. Thank you, but we don't like crowds. Meng Yao shook her head, rejecting Yufeng's suggestion. We won't hold you guys up any longer. We'll be leaving first. With that, Meng Yao grabbed Yushu's hand and walked towards the KTV entrance. Only then did Lin Yi turn around. not even looking at Yufeng as he escorted Meng Yao and the others into the KTV. Fuck, Yufeng cursed in a low voice. Who the hell are you? Acting all high and mighty. I'll get you on top of me sooner or later, make you scream. Yufeng turned around after he was done, returning to his warm smile as he faced the class. Haha, they're not giving you any face. Let's go have some fun. The class was thankful that Yufeng invited them to KTV, but out of fear of Lin Yi, no one dared to say anything bad about Lin Yi. He even dared to beat up Pin Liang and Zhou Ruoming. How could they say anything bad about him? Yufeng thought that everyone would respond to his scolding of Lin Yi and Meng Yao, but he didn't expect the silence. He was even more pissed, but he didn't show it on his face. He only whispered at Songming, "Go check their room number." Songming nodded and went to the service counter to ask for Lin Yi's room number. The staff didn't think much of it. He saw Tang Yun's uniform, and Songming's group was wearing the same uniform, so he thought that they were together. He naturally told Songming Lin Yi's room number. Xie Yufeng pretended like he didn't know anything and got a big room. Before going upstairs with the rest of the class, Lin Yi got a middle room, and it was quite spacious for 5 people. Lin Yi didn't know how to sing, so he just sat on the sofa after entering the room. Tang Yun, on the other hand, naturally sat next to Lin Yi. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, was the first to sit on the other side of Lin Yi, and so Lin Yi was surrounded. Yushu saw this and wasn't happy. "Hey, you're taking my seat." Yushu glared at Xiao Xiao. "Your seat? Where's your seat?" Xiao Xiao curled her lips as she looked at Yushu mockingly. "I'm usually sitting next to Shield Bro," Yushu said. "You said it yourself. It's usually when I'm not here," Xiao Xiao said nonchalantly. "Now that I'm here, of course I'm sitting next to Lin Yi." "Shield Bro, look, she's bullying Shu." Yushu looked at Lin Yi wrong. "You don't like Shu anymore, do you?" "I'm not sitting, you guys sit." Lin Yi stood up helplessly. He really didn't know what to do. He couldn't explain, so he just endured it. "I'm not sitting either. You can have it." Xiao Xiao giggled as she stood up. "I'll sit, then I'll sit." Yushu happily sat in Xiao Xiao's seat. The next moment, Xiao Xiao felt like she'd been tricked. Lin Yi stood up, but he had to sit down eventually. Tang Yun didn't stand up. So wouldn't Lin Yi have to sit next to her later? Wouldn't that mean that Lin Yi would be sitting next to Yushu? With that thought, Xiao Xiao sat in Lin Yi's seat, sitting next to Tang Yun. Yushu was on the other side, but she didn't care. "What song are you guys singing? I'll help you guys order." Lin Yi wasn't too interested in singing, but the song ordering system was simple. Lin Yi only needed one look to know how to do it. Meng Yao saw that Shu and Xiao Xiao were going head-to-head again, and she felt a little helpless. But she was curious. What was going on with this Xiao Xiao? Her instincts told her that Tang Yun wasn't the type of person Shu said she was. Did she really think that she was inferior to her and Shu? That she couldn't have a threesome with Lin Yi? So she got a mistress to make up the numbers? But if she really thought that way, wouldn't she have asked her and Shu to have a threesome? Why would she ask Xiao Xiao? Meng Yao, on the other hand, was startled by her own thought. What kind of nonsense was she thinking about? How could she have such impure thoughts? Yeah, she must have been led astray by Shu. Chapter 1000. Chapter 998. Attentive Xie Yufeng. "Oh, I'll sing Su Shihan song too, Yao Yao sis." Yushu said, "Are there any love songs for men and women to sing together?" Lin Yi, "Let's sing together." Xiao Xiao said, "I don't know how to sing. You sing it yourself." Lin Yi quickly stopped her, or Yushu would explode again. As expected, Yushu was very happy at Lin Yi's words. "Oh, Shield Bro doesn't want to sing with you, disappointed? What's wrong with that? He doesn't know how to sing, and he doesn't want to sing with me, and he doesn't want to sing with you." Xiao Xiao said, "Why not? We sing it every day. What's it called?" "Right, it's called Happy Nights." Yushu said, "Happy Nights? You sing in the middle of the night?" Xiao Xiao blinked. "Shield Bro, Yao Yao sis, and I play 3P every night." Yushu said proudly. 3P? Xiao Xiao didn't believe Yushu's words, but she didn't back down. 3P, huh? We're all sick of that. We've switched to role-playing and uniform seduction. Yours outdated. Role-playing uniform seduction? Yushu's head spun. We do that a lot too, Yao Yao, and I dress up as Happy Goat, and Shield Bro dresses up as Big Wolf. Ha ha. Xiao Xiao started laughing. What kind of role-playing is that? That's child's play. I'm talking about me and Tang Yun sis dressing up as air stewardesses or office workers. Don't you see Tang Yun sis always wearing the school uniform? It's called uniform seduction. Oh. Yushu was embarrassed, but she defended herself. That's also role-playing. Haven't you heard of a song? The wolf falls in love with the sheep. Tang Yun looked at Meng Yao apologetically, shrugging helplessly. She couldn't explain it to Meng Yao, and this was the only way to express her innocence. Meng Yao paused at Tang Yun's expression. Could it be that Tang Yun didn't call Xiao Xiao here on purpose? Tang Yun smiled bitterly, and so did Lin Yi. Meng Yao, on the other hand, was a little suspicious. Just how did Xiao Xiao become Lin Yi's small wife? At this time, Su Shihan's prelude started playing from the speakers. Meng Yao saw that it was her song, so she walked over and picked up the microphone. All right, Shu, stop arguing, I'm going to sing. Yushu nodded. Yushu shut her mouth and ignored Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao, on the other hand, didn't know what to say. She shut her mouth and listened to Meng Yao sing. At this moment, the atmosphere in the room calmed down a little. Lin Yi let out a breath of relief, and so did Tang Yun. Xiao Xiao was there, but Meng Yao didn't have stage fright at all. The miss was proud and confident, and she didn't sing in front of outsiders often, but it was undeniable that her voice was very good. She wasn't as good as those professionally trained singers, but the miss had a great voice. She didn't need to mimic anyone at all, just using her own voice to sing was already very nice. All in all, Lin Yi felt that the miss voice was very nice. He didn't know if it was Su Shihan's song or the miss performance, but this was the first time Lin Yi liked this song. He decided to download it when he got back. The miss hadn't finished yet, but halfway through, there was a knock on the door. The miss thought that it was a waiter who came to deliver snacks and fruits, so she didn't pay much attention. She only said to the door during the accompaniment, "Come in." When they first arrived, Lin Yi ordered some snacks casually. The cost of KTV was high, but it wasn't much to Lin Yi. However, the door opened, and the person who entered wasn't a waiter, but Xie Yufeng. Xie Yufeng pushed the door open and walked in, clapping his hands. I heard this beautiful voice at the door. It's like the sound of nature. I want to record it and use it as my phone's ringtone. Meng Yao looked at Xie Yufeng faintly, as if the person he was praising wasn't her. She only nodded slightly. What's the matter? I invited you guys earlier, but you didn't come, so I ordered some snacks for you guys. They'll be here soon. Xie Yufeng smiled. We'll be in the same class from now on. I don't have any other intentions. I just want to get along with everyone. It's okay. We've already ordered snacks. Meng Yao rejected Xie Yufeng faintly. She didn't know why, but when she saw this Xie Yufeng, she felt a sense of familiarity. It made her wary. In fact, when Lin Yi saw Xie Yufeng, he felt a sense of familiarity as well. But Lin Yi's attention was drawn to his strength, so he neglected this small detail. After all, a student at the peak of the early phase of the Mystic Division. This shocked Lin Yi. Xie Yufeng didn't say anything else, but turned around and sat beside Yushu. He was prepared to make his move on Yushu first. Looking at her breasts, he couldn't help but want to push her down on his crotch. Xie Yufeng was an extremely lustful person, but he hid it better in front of his father. However, with his strength at the peak of the early phase of the Mystic Division, even if he had 10 women in one night, he wouldn't feel any discomfort. After all, the stamina of a Mystic Division master was shockingly strong, so it wasn't a big deal to go overboard. Ha! Nice to meet you, beautiful lady Xie Yufeng. Xie Yufeng extended his hand to Yushu elegantly, looking at her with a melancholic smile. Move your hand away. Don't block my view of Yao Yao's singing. Yushu waved her hand impatiently, telling him not to block her. Yushu's words made Xie Yufeng's face stiffen, a hint of annoyance flashing across his eyes, but he hid it well. Ha! Beautiful lady not giving me face? That's embarrassing. Xie Yufeng shrugged, mocking himself. Stop talking. I'm listening to Yao Yao's singing. Yushu glared at Xie Yufeng, unhappy. I think he's pretty handsome. Why don't you be his mistress? He seems to be interested in you. Xiao Xiao said gloatingly as she watched Yufeng, trying to please Yushu. Why don't you go be his concubine? Yushu stopped listening to the song and turned her head to rebuke. Chapter 1001. A mistake. Haha. You must be joking, beauty. Why wouldn't I like you? I'm just afraid that you won't like me. So I didn't say anything. Yufeng didn't know about the conflict between Xiao Xiao and Yushu, and hearing her weird tone, he thought that she was jealous of him talking to Yushu. Yufeng, on the other hand, felt that Xiao Xiao must be interested in him. Since that was the case, he might as well hit on Xiao Xiao first. Her breasts weren't as big as Yushu's, but she was pretty. Then you're right, I don't like you. Xiao Xiao nodded after hearing Yufeng's words. What? Yufeng froze at Xiao Xiao's words, and his face darkened. What did this Xiao Xiao mean? She didn't like him, so what was she talking about? At the thought, Yufeng's heart was filled with a desire to conquer. He'd always been successful with girls, and in Yinjing, everyone knew that he was the young master of House Yu. There were countless girls throwing themselves at him, and even if some of them were pure and didn't take the initiative, he'd still be successful if he made the first move. And so, with Xiao Xiao and Yushu ignoring him, Yufeng felt that it was a challenge. As far as he was concerned, these two girls must have a close relationship with Lin Yi, but with his years of experience, Yushu and Xiao Xiao were still virgins. This made him want to get ahead of them. As far as he was concerned, getting on Lin Yi's girlfriend before Lin Yi would be the same as making him a cuckold. Even if House Yu couldn't do anything to Lin Yi right now, making Lin Yi a cuckold would still feel good. And so, Yufeng smiled, not minding it at all. Haha, pretty girl, you're quite funny. As Yufeng said that, someone knocked on the door of the room. Come in, Yufeng said nonchalantly, getting Yushu and Xiao Xiao's looks of disdain at him. But Yufeng didn't mind at all. In the dark room, he didn't notice Yushu and Xiao Xiao's expressions at all. He was waiting for the waiter to bring in the snacks and the things he wanted, so his whole attention was on the waiter who came in at the door. Hello, guests in the private room. These are the fruits and snacks you ordered. Please enjoy. The waiter walked in and placed the fruit platter and snacks on the coffee table. Then, he turned around and was about to leave the room. Haha, it's my treat. Come, beauties, try the fruits in this plate. Yufeng waved his hand at Xiao Xiao and Yushu. Because Tang Yin was quite far away, and Yufeng's energy was limited, he decided to make his move on Yushu and Xiao Xiao first. As for Tang Yun and Meng Yao, they'd be his sooner or later, so there was no rush. Your treat. Yushu heard Yufeng's words and looked at him with disdain. This is Shield Bro's treat, and you're using someone else's food to treat us? What? Yufeng paused. Shield Bro? Who is it? This is the fruit platter I ordered for you guys before I came. And, ugh. At that point, Yufeng realized that something wasn't right. Other than the fruit platter and snacks, he'd also asked for flowers. This was a great weapon for hitting on girls, but the waiter didn't bring it in with him. He was in a rush to show off and forgot about this. Now that he thought about it, he realized that something was wrong. Fortunately, there was another knock on the door from outside the private room. Yufeng let out a breath of relief, thinking that the heavens were on his side. He quickly stood up. Come in. This time, the waiter brought in what Yufeng had ordered. It was a fruit platter, snacks, and 2 bouquets of flowers. Yufeng calmed down when he saw the flowers and quickly walked over to take them. He then turned to Xiao Xiao and Yushu. My stuff's here now. Eat as much as you want. No need to be polite. But, after taking the fruit platter and snacks, Yufeng realized that there was no more space on the coffee table. The snacks and fruit platters that Lin Yi had ordered were all taken up. After Yufeng came in, Lin Yi had been watching him coldly from afar. Lin Yi had always been suspicious of Yufeng. From his style and tone, he was a typical arrogant and narcissistic person. But he was a mystic early-phase peak at such a young age, and he did have a right to be arrogant. Yufeng's goal of approaching Yushu and Xiao Xiao was obvious as well. He was probably here to hit on girls. Of course, Lin Yi wouldn't stop him. He just watched from his side. He believed that as long as Yufeng didn't use force, he wouldn't be able to take advantage of them. Lin even felt a little sad for Yufeng. Of all the girls he could have gone after, why did he have to go after Yushu and Xiao Xiao? How dare he touch these two girls? Did he think his life was too long? Ah, eat slowly. There's more here. I'll put it aside for now. You can bring it back when you're done. Yufeng couldn't just keep holding the fruit platter and snacks, so he put them on the cabinet not far away. He took the two bouquets of flowers and walked over to Yushu and Xiao Xiao. Two beauties, this is for you. Oh, thank you. Yushu didn't reject this time and took the flowers. Yufeng was overjoyed at the sight. It seemed that the flowers were useful. Girls all like flowers. Xiao Xiao saw Yushu take the flowers and asked, "What? You're giving up on your shield, bro, and becoming Yufeng's small wife." Small wife? Yufeng was overjoyed. It seemed like these girls weren't the conservative type. If they could be concubines, then they wouldn't mind having multiple wives and concubines. Wouldn't it be fine for him to do them at the same time? With that thought, Yufeng quickly said, "I'm actually a very fair person. I treat both the big wife and the small wife equally, and I really love the small wife. Look, hurry up and bring your first wife, Yao Yao, to him." Xiao Xiao said to Yushu, "Why don't you bring your Tangyan sis to be his small wife?" Yushu asked back, "You took his flowers, I didn't." Xiao Xiao said. Chapter 1002. Coincidentally enough, Xiao Xiao frowned and snatched the flowers from Yufeng's hands before running over to Lin Yi, handing it to Lin Yi. "Lin Yi, this is for you." Ugh. Lin Yi could only smile bitterly at the flowers from both Xiao Xiao and Yushu. The reason why Lin Yi didn't kick Yufeng out was because Lin Yi wanted to observe him from the shadows and figure out where he came from. A mystic class master like this suddenly appeared in school, and in his class. Lin Yi wouldn't believe it if someone said that he wasn't here for Meng Yao or himself. Secondly, Lin Yi wanted to use Yufeng's disturbance to make Xiao Xiao and Yushu stop fighting for a while. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any peace for the rest of the night. But now it seemed that Lin Yi's judgment was wrong. Xiao Xiao and Yushu actually shifted Yufeng's conflict to him. Lin Yi took Yushu's flowers and Xiao Xiao's, but he didn't hold them for long. Lin Yi gave them to Meng Yao, who was still singing. "You sing really well for you." Meng Yao couldn't help but smile when she heard Lin Yi complimenting her singing. She was overjoyed and couldn't help but smile. She reached out to take the flowers from Lin Yi and held them in her arms. "Thank you." Meng Yao was so focused on singing that she didn't notice where the flowers came from. She thought that Lin Yi had gotten it for her, and her heart was sweeter than honey. It seemed like he had some taste, knowing how to please her. The flowers were from Lin Yi, and Xiao Xiao wasn't too happy about it, but she couldn't do anything about it. Yushu, on the other hand, was happy. Lin Yi giving it to Meng Yao was the same as giving it to her, wasn't it? Yufeng's face didn't look too good. His flower had been given to someone else. No matter how stupid he was, he could tell that Yushu and Xiao Xiao were fighting over Lin Yi. This Lin Yi seemed to be quite popular, huh? So many girls seemed to be in an ambiguous relationship with him. With that thought, Yufeng's eyes flashed with contemplation. It seemed like Lin Yi was a tough opponent, but Yufeng was confident. After all, he felt that he was more handsome than Lin Yi. He was better than Lin Yi in every aspect. Before he came to school, he asked Wang Tsoming to inquire about Lin Yi. Lin Yi hadn't been in school for long, and he'd already beaten up the two big bullies, Zhong Pinliang and Zhou Ruoming. Was it because Lin Yi could fight that these girls liked Lin Yi so much? That was possible. Xie Yufeng himself was a practitioner, and so he worshipped strength. He had the mindset that strength was the king in his bones. As far as he was concerned, the reason why these girls liked Lin Yi was because Lin Yi had strength. Didn't girls this age all look up to guys who were good at fighting? What's the big deal with a few hooligans? With his strength, it would be a piece of cake for him to do so. Yufeng was eager to show off his strength in front of Xiao Xiao and Yushu. He couldn't show off his practitioner's strength, but with his normal physique, as long as it wasn't a professional practitioner or a group, he was confident that he could win. As far as he was concerned, no matter how strong those hooligans were, they were just messing around. He could take them down in a few moves. Plus, as long as Lin Yi wasn't there, he could just use some chi secretly. Who would be able to tell? Unless there was a practitioner there, and they could feel his chi, Normal people wouldn't be able to tell. But Lin, he had already laid a solid foundation in school, and he'd stomped on those troublemakers until they lost their temper. They knew how strong Lin he was, and they wouldn't mess with the people around Lin that easily. If he wanted to show off his strength, he wouldn't have a chance to do so. He really hoped that some blind hooligans would come out and mess with Xiao Xiao and Yushu. That way, he could be the hero saving the damsel in distress. Didn't Lin win Tang Yun's heart because he beat up Zhou Ruoming? Right now, Yu Feng could only use gentle tactics. He looked at Xiao Xiao and started chatting with her. You're Xiao Xiao, right? I've heard of your name for a long time. One of the school beauties of Songshan's first. Where did you hear that? You made it up yourself, right? Xiao Xiao rolled her eyes, impatient. Why haven't you heard that I'm the last of the big four? Huh, I heard that you're one of the big four. Yu Feng laughed. Do you have any hobbies? I like playing basketball, playing pool, and singing. Oh, not bad. Do you gamble or smoke? Xiao Xiao asked. No. I don't have any of those bad habits. Yu Feng thought that Xiao Xiao was ready to accept him, so he quickly shook his head and denied it. All right, I'll be fine. Then do you race? Xiao Xiao asked. No, I'd never do something that dangerous. Yu Feng shook his head subconsciously. Oh, sorry, we don't have anything in common. I like racing. Xiao Xiao smiled. Huh? Yu Feng blinked, realizing that he'd been tricked. Xiao Xiao asked him about a bad habit, and after he denied it, she asked him about racing, which seemed like a bad habit. He must have denied it subconsciously, but Xiao Xiao said that she liked it. Thinking about how he'd been tricked by Xiao Xiao, Yu Feng was furious, but he couldn't go back on his words. But I'm a collector of famous cars, and there's a lot of them in my garage, like Ferrari, Porsche, and so on. They're all normal stuff? Xiao Xiao was ready to fight Yushu for 300 rounds, but this Yu Feng's sudden appearance annoyed her. She'd already made fun of him a couple of times already. Why didn't this guy know his place? Why did he keep messing with her? You talking to me? Why don't you go bother Yushu, that big tits girl? Yushu, I'm going to the washroom. You coming? Xiao Xiao turned to Yushu. Chapter 1003. A temporary alliance, and so, under Lin Tang Yun, and Meng Yao's shocked gazes, Xiao Xiao and Yushu left the room. Why did you call me out? Yushu asked Xiao Xiao when they reached the door. She didn't think that Xiao Xiao would be nice enough to ask her to go to the washroom. Don't you think that Xie Yufeng is annoying? Xiao Xiao asked. Very annoying. It's affecting my PK with you. Yushu nodded. I think so too, so I've decided to deal with that Xie Yufeng first, then you. Xiao Xiao said, what do you think? You want to ally with me? Yushu wasn't stupid. Just a temporary alliance. We'll continue after we deal with Xie Yufeng. Xiao Xiao nodded. All right, it's settled then. Yushu and Xiao Xiao hit it off. Do you have any ideas? Not yet. I'm thinking. Xiao Xiao shook her head. The two talked as they walked towards the washroom, but in reality, they didn't intend to go there. They stood at the door, thinking of an idea. Pretty girl, waiting for someone here? A chubby-looking drunk man had just come out of the washroom, and his eyes lit up when he saw Yushu and Xiao Xiao at the washroom door. Such a pretty girl, much better than the girls he found in the room. One look, and he could tell that she was a pure and innocent student. So he couldn't help but tease her. This man was called Lei Jinyu, the boss of Tianyi Entertainment City, Zhou Tianyi's guest. He did the empty card distribution business in the province, and he was also a big boss. He did things without any fear. If he saw a pretty girl in a nightclub or entertainment city, he would push her into the room. If she was obedient, it would be fine, but if she wasn't, he would threaten and bribe her, giving her some money afterwards. And that was it. Most of the girls who frequented nightclubs and entertainment city weren't pure, and they weren't virgins, so they didn't care if they were hit, and they could still get a sum of money afterwards. They were afraid of Lei Jinyu's power, so they didn't dare to call the police. Therefore, Lei Jinyu became more and more unscrupulous. The sudden appearance of the storm made Xiao Xiao and Yushu pause. They looked at each other and understood each other's intentions. We came out with another man. I'm sorry. We can't accompany you anymore. Xiao Xiao looked at Lei Jinyu regretfully. Yeah, we want to go with you, but our partner's really strong. You can't afford to mess with him. so we can't go with you." Yushu blinked helplessly as well. After the two of them finished speaking, they looked at each other again. This time, there was a sense of mutual appreciation. The two of them really hit it off and thought of the same thing. They all wanted to use this man to deal with Yufeng. When Lei Jinyu heard Xiao Xiao and Yushu's words, he knew that there was hope. The two girls did not directly refuse, but said that they had a male companion, and that the male companion was very powerful, so he could not let them accompany him. So, Lei Jinyu was overjoyed. He waved his hand and said nonchalantly, "Humph, in this Songshan city, who can be more powerful than me? Lei Jinyu? Others dare to snatch the girl that I like. No way, Lei Bro, although we want to accompany you. Our partner is very strong." Xiao Xiao shook her head and said with a bitter face, Yeah, he's very strong. Lei Bro, you look very strong, but I'm afraid you're not his match. Yushu reminded worriedly. Fuck, go back and tell him that I, Lei Jinyu, have taken a liking to you. If he has any complaints, go to Lei Bro's good station and look for me. I'll kill him. Lei Jinyu heard Xiao Xiao and Yushu praising their partner, and he was instantly enraged. We don't dare to, Lei Bro. Why don't you go back with us and talk about it? Xiao Xiao said. Sure, I'll go back with you guys. Lei Jinyu was obviously drunk. He didn't consider if there was any conspiracy in Xiao Xiao and Yushu's words. He waved his hand and was about to leave with them. At this time, two men came out from the washroom. One was bald, and the other had an aquiline nose. When the two came out, the bald man said to Lei Jinyu, Lei Bro, why are you here? Huh? When the bald man saw Xiao Xiao and Yushu, his eyes lit up. He didn't expect Lei Bro to be so powerful. He could find two beautiful girls in the washroom. If Lei Bro was done with them, wouldn't it be his turn? Oh, these two girls are willing to play with us, but they said that their partner is very strong. I'll go with them to settle it. Lei Jinyu said casually. Xie Yufeng saw Xiao Xiao and Yushu going to the washroom together. He wanted to go with them too. This was a good opportunity to interact with them alone. Who knows, he might be able to do something to please them. However, Xie Yufeng couldn't go out immediately after Xiao Xiao and Yushu left. It would seem a little too deliberate. He waited for a while and stood up. He pretended to go to the washroom and walked out of the room. However, when he reached the corridor, he saw Xiao Xiao and Yushu being surrounded by three fierce-looking men. Someone was looking for trouble? Xie Yufeng's brain short-circuited. He was so excited that he didn't know what to do. This was a great opportunity given to him by the heavens. Before this, Xie Yufeng didn't have a chance to show off his strength. He didn't expect the opportunity to come so soon. Xie Yufeng really wanted to burn incense for these three. They appeared at the perfect time. Dearest, you guys exist to show off to me. With that thought, Xie Yufeng ran over and asked anxiously, Xiao Xiao Shu, what's wrong? Who are they? Xiao Xiao and Yushu wanted to lure these people into the room and beat Xie Yufeng up. They didn't expect this idiot Xie Yufeng to come out of the room on his own. He was really looking for trouble. The two looked at each other and smiled. This Xie Yufeng really came from the Suicide Squad. Oh, our partner is looking for us. Yushu said nervously, Sorry, Lei Bro, we have to go back. Lei Bro, we have to go back with him. See you next time. Xiao Xiao said to Lei Jinyu. Chapter 1004. She didn't pretend Lei Jinyu was delighted to see Yufeng running towards him. Strong with his physique? Kid, are you their man? Lei Jinyu thought that Feng Xiao Xiao's partner meant her boyfriend, so the moment she opened her mouth, she asked if Xie Yufeng was their man. Yufeng was overjoyed. You have good eyesight, aren't you? Just because of what you said, I'll beat you up a little less. I was planning to cripple you for life, but I'll let you stay in the hospital for half a year. Who are you? Xiao Xiao, Shu, is he bothering you? Yufeng didn't deny it and accepted Lei Jinyu's title. Kid, this is none of your business. Our Lei Bro has taken a liking to your girl. You can get lost now. The bald man laughed when he saw Yufeng's reaction. He was a typical pretty boy. This type of guy was good at seducing girls, but he was nothing in a fight. He could beat 3 to 4 of them with a single punch. Xiao Xiao Shu, Stay back, I'll take care of this. Yufeng was really afraid that the three of them would run away the moment they saw him. If that happened, he wouldn't be able to show his strength, even if he chased after them. But the three of them seemed to be cooperating with him. Not only did they not leave, they even said some annoying things. Yufeng almost laughed out loud. The three of you appeared at the right time. But since you're here, cooperate with me. Kid, are you determined not to leave? Lei Jinyu was taken aback when he saw that Yufeng still dared to stay after seeing the three of them. Abandoning your girl and running away. That's the behavior of a coward. Yufeng smiled faintly and said, You three, if you don't want to spend the rest of your life in a wheelchair, then get lost. Shout. Lei Jinyu was amused when he heard Yufeng's tone. Kid, are you stupid? Are you threatening me? Why don't you go and find out about my reputation in the underworld? I'm in a hurry to play with them. I don't want to talk to you. And you dare to be so cocky? All right, cut the bullshit. You three come at me together. Yufeng said faintly. If he didn't use his pure chi, Yufeng wouldn't be a match for these three. After all, Yufeng didn't have a lot of battle experience. He relied on his spiritual strength. But these three looked like normal gangsters. Even if Yufeng used his chi, they wouldn't know what was going on. That was why Yufeng dared to say that he wanted the three of them to come at him together. Xiao Xiao and Yushu, on the other hand, frowned as they looked at each other in disbelief at Yufeng. Yufeng taking the initiative and calmly asking the three to attack together. This made Xiao Xiao and Yushu a little confused. What did Yufeng rely on? Was he really a master of fighting? If that was the case, then their plan had failed. Not only did they fail to chase Xie Yufeng away, but they also let him be in the limelight. Brother Lei, since this kid wants to die, let's get rid of him first. Baldy glanced at Lei Jinyu and said, All right, let's go together and kill him, then go to the private room and play with the girls. Lei Jinyu nodded. He didn't even put Xie Yufeng in his eyes. He walked towards Xie Yufeng and reached out his hand to pull Xie Yufeng's hair. Get lost. Xie Yufeng spat out a word, scram, and kicked Lei Jinyu's chest, sending him flying away. Of course, Yufeng only used a little bit of pure chi. He didn't want to cripple Lei Jinyu directly. That would be too weak. He wanted to torture Lei Jinyu bit by bit. Only then could he build up his heroic image in front of Yushu and Xiao Xiao. If he knocked Lei Jinyu out in one hit, it would be too boring. Yushu and Xiao Xiao didn't know any martial arts. Seeing him defeat his opponent so easily, they wouldn't think that he was strong. After all, there weren't many opportunities for him to show off his strength. So Yufeng had to seize the opportunity to show off his strength in front of Yushu and Xiao Xiao. Fuck, this kid is a martial artist. Let's go. Lei Jinyu's blood rushed to his head from the kick. His chest hurt. He got up from the ground and was furious. He pointed at Yufeng and ordered Baldy and Eagle Nose. Lin, he was in the private room. He saw that Yufeng had left the private room and Xiao Xiao and Yushu hadn't returned yet. He was worried. Lin, he didn't know Yufeng's background, so he didn't dare to let his guard down. Although it seemed like Yufeng wanted to pursue Xiao Xiao and Yushu, he wouldn't do anything to hurt them. But who knew if there would be any accidents? So Lin, he waited for Yufeng to leave the private room. He thought for a while and followed him out. He couldn't let Xiao Xiao and Yushu leave his sight for too long, especially when there was an unstable factor like Yufeng. Lin, he came out of the private room and saw Yufeng kicking Lei Jinyu away. Yushu and Xiao Xiao were standing behind him. Lin, he frowned at this. Could it be that Yushu and Xiao Xiao had gotten into some trouble, and this Xie Yufeng was helping them? Xiao Xiao Shu. Lin, he called out to them as he walked. Lin, he. Xiao Xiao called out happily. She'd only been out for a short while, and Lin, he was already out, evidently worried that something had happened to her. Xiao Xiao was very happy. Shield Bro. Yushu had the same thought as Xiao Xiao. It seemed like Shield Bro was still worried about his little wife's safety. Why? Only Yufeng froze when he heard Lin Yi's voice. What was Lin Yi doing out here? He didn't come out earlier or later. He just had to come out when he was beating up the bad guys and building up his heroic image in front of Yushu and Xiao Xiao. Was he trying to steal his credit? At the thought of this, Xie Yufeng regretted talking to this Lei Jinyu. He didn't even manage to cripple him in one move. If he had directly knocked them down without saying anything, wouldn't this situation not have happened? No, he had to take care of these three as soon as possible. He couldn't let Lin Yi interfere. At this moment, Lei Jinyu, Baldy, and Aquiline Nose were already closing in on him. Xie Yufeng took up his stance and was about to finish off the three of them in one move. But the moment he made his move, he stopped abruptly. Chapter 1005. Xie Yufeng, who felt wronged in front of normal people. No matter how much he used his qi, they wouldn't be able to sense anything wrong. But in front of practitioners, as long as there was a fluctuation of qi, they would be able to sense it. Xie Yufeng knew that Lin Yi was also a practitioner. If he used his qi, Lin Yi would be the first to sense his strength. Xie Yufeng jumped in fright. He was lucky. If his strength was exposed on the first day of school transfer, then this trip would be a waste. What would his father think of him? If he couldn't even do such a simple thing, how would he be able to take on important tasks in the future? Thus, Xie Yufeng quickly dispersed the qi he was about to condense. But trouble came again. Without the help of qi, Xie Yufeng was no match for these three people. These three people were gangsters who often fought. Xie Yufeng could deal with one of them, but to fight three at the same time wasn't a joke. He wasn't a physical practitioner. Spiritual practitioners relied on qi to fight. Without qi, they were no different from normal people. At most, they would be slightly stronger than normal people. Xie Yufeng was different from Lin Yi. Even if Lin Yi lost the support of qi, he had many years of experience in the battlefield. His skills were many times better than normal people. He also had countless assassination techniques, and his body was very agile. Even if it was a fight, as long as the opponent wasn't a physical practitioner, Lin Yi could easily win. But Xie Yufeng couldn't. At this moment, he was in a dilemma. Guys, let's forget about today's matter. If you're not satisfied, you can leave your contact information. We will arrange a time to fight again. Xie Yufeng's face changed. In the end, he still said something to save face. Without qi, he had no chance of winning. Fuck, are you stupid? You think we'll forget about it? What happened to your ability to kick people? Didn't you tell us to attack together? Brothers, kill him. Lei Jinyu heard Xie Yufeng's words and laughed. It seemed like this kid was scared. One should always leave a way out so that they can meet again in the future. Do you insist on fighting today? Yufeng frowned. He felt that it was embarrassing, but he had to speak softly. In front of Lin Yi, he didn't dare to use his true qi. Facing these three people, wouldn't he only be able to take a beating? Escape route? You were the one who told us to attack together. Lei Jinyu laughed even louder when he saw Yufeng's cowardly look. Kid, why don't you kneel down and count out to me 3 times, call me grandpa, then crawl under my crotch, and I'll let this go. Ha 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 ha. Crawl on the crotch. The bald man and the hook-nosed man laughed along. Yufeng's face turned green. He hated Lin Yi to the core. If you have nothing better to do, why don't you just stay in the private room and come out to wander around? He really hoped that Lin Yi would bring Yushu and Xiao Xiao back to the room right now. But Lin Yi seemed to be watching the show, not moving at all. Lin Yi, bring Xiao Xiao and Yushu back to the room. Don't hurt them. Yufeng had no choice. He could only say this to Lin Yi, praying that Lin Yi would accept his suggestion. As long as Lin Yi left for a while, Yufeng would be able to use his true qi to cripple these 3 people. Lin Yi, on the other hand, looked at Yufeng with interest. He was curious. What was this Yufeng trying to do? They were already on the verge of a fight, but he suddenly started to speak softly. What was he trying to do? Plus, Lin Yi could clearly feel that Yufeng wanted to use his true qi, but he didn't. What was he trying to hide? Oh, I'm just a bystander, Lin Yi said faintly, but he didn't have any intention of leaving. Kid, you're still talking nonsense when you're about to die? Yufeng kicked Lei Jinyu just now, and Lei Jinyu's chest was still hurting. Seeing that Yufeng was still talking nonsense, he finally lost his patience and raised his leg to kick Yufeng. Yufeng was shocked. He wanted to dodge, but he didn't expect that he would be pinned down by the Baldy and the Aquiline Nose. He thought that even though he couldn't use true qi, he could still rely on his agility. Even if he couldn't beat these 3 people, he wouldn't be at a disadvantage. As long as he could hold on for a while and wait for the security to come, he would be fine. But he didn't expect the baldy and aquiline nose to block him from both sides, not allowing him to move. The next moment, Yu Feng screamed in pain, cold sweat dripping down his forehead. Lei Jinyu's kick landed on Yu Feng's crotch. "Kid, aren't you very capable? Aren't you pretending in front of me? I'll cripple you," Lei Jinyu said as he kicked Yu Feng's crotch again, turning him into a shrimp. Yu Feng's body was trembling in pain. He wanted to kill Lei Jinyu with a single palm. But when he thought about how Lin Yi was watching from the side, he could only endure it for the sake of House Yu. Luckily, he was a practitioner. His body was stronger than normal people. Although Lei Jinyu's kicks were painful, they didn't cause any physical damage. If not, Yu Feng would have killed himself. Yu Feng covered his crotch and squatted down, while Lei Jinyu, Baldy, and the aquiline nose raised their fists and started punching Yu Feng. "Who asked you to pretend? Aren't you arrogant? How dare you be arrogant in front of me? Brother Lei, in Songshan's territory, I'll kill you. Don't you know, the boss of this KTV, Zhou Qiandi, is our brother Lei's buddy. Killing you is a piece of cake." Yu Feng, who didn't have any pure energy to protect his body, was beaten into a pig's head by the three of them. Lin Yi, on the other hand, had a playful smile on his face, but he didn't leave. He was still watching Lei Jinyu and the other two beat Yu Feng up. Now, Lin Yi was completely sure that Yu Feng was hiding something. He didn't want to show his strength in front of him. So the reason why Yu Feng transferred schools was suspicious. Lin Yi was 80% sure that Yu Feng was here for him. If not, why would he endure the beating and hide his strength in front of him? But Lin Yi didn't expose him, since he wanted to play the game of pretending to be a pig, then continue to pretend to be a pig. Lin Yi was happy to pretend that he didn't know anything. He just stood aside and watched the show. Chapter 1006. Happy Cooperation. Xiao Xiao Shu, let's go back. It's too dangerous here. There's a fight going on. Lin Yi ignored Yu Feng's cries. Even if Lin Yi didn't know that he was a mystic early phase peak, Lin Yi would still be happy to see him get beaten up. He didn't know if that Lei Jinyu's kicks were strong enough. It'd be best if he turned Yu Feng into a eunuch. Then he wouldn't be able to pick up girls anymore. But Lin Yi knew that this was a good idea, but it wasn't realistic. Unless he did it himself. Even if Yu Feng didn't use his qi, it was impossible for normal people to injure a mystic. Yeah, it's so dangerous. Should we call the police? Yushu nodded in agreement. I think we should call the ambulance. I think he'll have to go to the hospital later. Xiao Xiao said. Call the police. Yushu went against Xiao Xiao instinctively. Call the ambulance. Xiao Xiao didn't back down. Call the police. Yushu said. Call the ambulance. Xiao Xiao said. Then we won't. Yushu said. Then we won't. Xiao Xiao said. Oh, he could just wait to die. Yushu said. Yeah, it's good that he's dead. Xiao Xiao said. You didn't want to call the ambulance, did you? Yushu said. You didn't want to call the police, did you? Xiao Xiao said. You're so bad. Yushu said. Same here. Xiao Xiao said. The two smiled at each other. It was a happy cooperation. Lin Yi's face twitched as he listened to Xiao Xiao and Yushu's conversation. This Xie Yufeng was quite unlucky to run into these two little demonesses. And so, Yufeng continued to get beaten up, and Lin Yi, Xiao Xiao, and Yushu walked towards a room. Yufeng's cries were drowned out by the music in the hallway. Go faster, go faster. Yufeng saw that Lin Yi had finally left, and he let out a sigh of relief. He was hoping that Lin Yi would enter the room soon, so he could use his pure qi to tear these three into pieces. How dare you treat me like this? I'll let you have a taste of the power of a mystic class master. Yufeng gritted his teeth and thought to himself. Finally, Lin Yi, Xiao Xiao, and Yushu entered the room, and Yufeng, who was being beaten up, suddenly jumped up from the floor, his body filled with an indescribable aura. This was the aura of a king. He'd turned his weak position around, becoming a man who looked down on the world. Are you done? Xie Yufeng had the protection of qi, so naturally he could ignore the rain of punches from Lei Jinyu and the others. He looked at Lei Jinyu indifferently and asked in disdain. Fuck, you're really asking for a beating. Aren't you happy that you got beaten up? Brothers, let's work harder. Since this kid is itching for a beating, let's satisfy him. Lei Jinyu saw that Yu Feng didn't beg for mercy, and instead asked him if he was done. He was furious. Yu Feng's lips curled into a mocking smile. He knew that these three would have to pay the price with their blood. But just when Yu Feng was about to punch, the door to Lin Yi's room opened again, and Lin Yi popped his head out, as if he was talking to himself. I wonder if this Xie Yu Feng is dead or not. We're classmates after all. We can't just leave him to die. It's better to come out and have a look. Don't let him die. Yu Feng heard Lin Yi's words, and he didn't feel touched at all. Instead, he gritted his teeth in anger. Of all times to come out, why did you have to come out now? You're not trying to save me. You're trying to kill me. Xie Yu Feng subconsciously dispersed all the qi in his body. In front of Lin Yi, he didn't dare to be careless at all. If he exposed himself, then the next step of House Yu's plan wouldn't be able to proceed. You're killing me. Yu Feng was afraid that Lin Yi would see through him, and so he fell to the ground, covering his head with his hands. Lei Jinyu, Baldy, and the aquiline nose were stunned. They didn't know what Yu Feng was trying to do. Just a moment ago, he suddenly became violent, and in the blink of an eye, he turned into a coward. However, Lei Jinyu and the others were only stunned for a moment, and then they raised their fists and started beating Yu Feng up again. Yu Feng felt a wave of sadness in his heart. Why was he so unlucky? Just when he wanted to fight back, this Lin Yi came out again. It's fine if you don't care. You can just leave quietly, but you don't care and you keep coming out. Aren't you just messing with people? You can still talk. Seems like you're not dead yet. I'll come out later. Lin Yi's lips curled into a smile, and he walked back into the room. In fact, one had to admit that sometimes Lin Yi was even worse than Yushu and Xiao Xiao. This was also the reason why these two girls didn't mess with Lin Yi. Xiao Xiao tried a few times, but it all failed, and Yushu thought that Shield Bro was stronger than her. Yu Feng really had the urge to bite his tongue and kill himself. You still want to come out later? What are you looking at? Can you not look at me anymore? Although Yu Feng was praying, he knew that Lin Yi wouldn't do what he prayed, or else he would pray for Lin Yi to kill himself, and House Yu's revenge would be avenged. Fearing that Lin Yi would come out again, Yu Feng didn't dare to use his qi anymore. He could only grit his teeth and endure the pain as he hummed. Ninja Turtle, brave beyond compare. Ninja Turtle, invincible, full of magical power. How he wished that he could become a Ninja Turtle and carry a turtle shell on his back. Fuck, this kid can still sing. Looks like we didn't hit him hard enough. Lei Jinyu couldn't hear what Yu Feng was singing, but he could hear him humming, and he was furious. Brothers, keep hitting him, beat him until he can't sing anymore. And so, the punches on Yu Feng's body became even more intense. Yu Feng was beaten to the point where he was hovering between life and death. Yu Feng swore in his heart, "You guys are dead meat. I'm afraid that I'll expose my target today. You guys have it easy." After a while, Lei Jinyu was really tired, and he was a little surprised himself. How could this guy be so resistant? He hadn't fainted after so long. It seemed like he had a lot of resistance. Chapter 1007 Underground Arena, Part 1 Xie Yu Feng crawled up from the ground. Although the gangsters didn't do much damage to him, there were still some superficial wounds. There were bruises all over his body. Lei Jinyu, if I don't kill you, I swear I'm not a human. This guy's so pitiful. I don't know how he offended the gangsters. Getting beaten up like this, I wonder if he's injured. Someone sighed. Yeah, he can't die, right? Let's go to the hospital for a checkup. Don't let him get an internal injury. Another person said, What are you looking at? Xie Yu Feng gritted his teeth and glared at the crowd before leaving with a humph. He didn't have the face to go back to Lin Yi's room anymore, so he could only go back to his own room. Xie Yu Feng's entrance attracted everyone's attention. In this room, Xie Yu Feng was the main character. After all, he was the host, and his classmates treated him as the center of attention. Seeing him come back with a swollen face, they froze. Pang Hu and Song Ming, on the other hand, rushed over, looking at Yu Feng nervously. Master Xie, what's wrong? Your face. It's nothing, the road was slippery, and I slipped. Xie Yu Feng waved his hand and explained. Slippery road? Pang Hu and Song Ming knew how strong Xie Yu Feng was. He was a mystic early-phase peak. How could he fall over just because the road was slippery? But Xie Yu Feng clearly didn't want to talk about it, so they couldn't ask. Lin, he was just saying that, and he didn't go out after going back to the room. He was just trying to scare Yu Feng, and since this guy wanted to hide his strength, then he'd just keep getting beaten up. Inside the room, Yu Shu and Xiao Xiao were at each other's throats again, arguing about something. Lin, he could only smile bitterly. These two were evenly matched, and neither wanted to lose. They wanted to see who was stronger. However, the topic of conversation between the two was all over the place. From the initial fight over Lin Yi, it ran to who was more powerful. I once made Yao Yao's pursuer, Zhong Pingliang, run a kilometer to buy me grilled squid. Yushu said, That's nothing, I've scammed people before, making them treat me to a meal worth a few $100 million. Xiao Xiao didn't back down. Meng Yao didn't disturb the two as they were happily chatting. She passed the microphone to Tang Yun when she was tired. Do you want to sing for a while? I don't want it, right? Tang Yin had never been to a place like this before, and she didn't sing at home. She did listen to some pop songs, but it was just listening. She wouldn't be able to sing well if she were to sing. Why don't you try? Otherwise, I'd be the only one singing. Meng Yao couldn't help but shake her head as she looked at Shu. She whispered to Tang Yun, "This Xiao Xiao? What's going on? I'll let Lenny explain it to you guys tonight. It's not good to say it here." Tang Yun was very careful, afraid that Xiao Xiao would notice something. I see. Okay. Meng Yao nodded, since Tang Yun said that there had to be something going on. Aren't you too tired? Lin, he asked as he looked at the excited Yushu and Xiao Xiao. You guys hit it off so well. Why don't you guys form a group? You might even get a big prize. No, I don't like people who are like me. Yushu shook her head. One mountain can't have two tigers. You think I like you? Xiao Xiao rejected as well. Huh. Linny smiled. Then are you guys going to sing or not? If not, I'll go back to sleep. Of course we'll sing. Yushu jumped up at Lin Yi's words and looked at Xiao Xiao. Now it's Shu's turn to perform. Songshan was a city of neon lights under the night sky, and all the entertainment venues were filled with cars. People were coming and going, and the place was bustling with noise and excitement. But in this joyous and prosperous night, there was a place filled with blood and darkness. Good one. Kill him. Purple Wolf will win. Go Purple Wolf. Left hook, right hook. Kick his head. Kill Purple Wolf. Black Bear will win. This was an abandoned factory workshop, but after some remodeling, it had become an underground boxing arena. There were rows and rows of spectator seats around it, and there were many young people sitting there who were shouting wildly. In the VIP seats at the front, there were some people who looked like bosses with a calm demeanor. They had cigars in their mouths, and there was a faint smile on their faces as they looked at the bloody scene in the arena. Bosley, who did you bet on today? A fat man with a cigar in his mouth asked a middle-aged man wearing sunglasses beside him. Isn't it Purple Wolf? He won 3 rounds in a row already, and I bet $3 million on him today. The man with sunglasses called Bosley said with a smile. Although he said, but he didn't seem to care about 3 million yuan at all. It was as if 3 million yuan was just a joke. Hee, I also bet on Purple Wolf, but I didn't bet as much as you. Only 2 million. The fatty with the cigar laughed. Small bets are for fun. Even if I lose, it's just like drinking a few bottles of red wine. You're right. We enjoy this kind of excitement. This arena is very good, very exciting. Those fake fights can't compare to this. This is a real fight to the death. The sunglasses man nodded. In the middle of the arena, 2 people wearing different colored headgear were fighting in close combat. One of them was wearing a headgear with a purple wolf pattern. This person was obviously the purple wolf that these people were talking about. The other person was wearing a headgear with a black bear pattern. This person was also the black bear that these people were talking about. Black Bear's body was already covered in blood from Purple Wolf's attacks. With another heavy punch, Purple Wolf sent Black Bear flying. Black Bear landed heavily on the stage. Wah! The audience cheered. Some were excited, some were depressed. The excited ones were the ones who won the bet, and the depressed ones were the ones who lost the bet. Of course, most people didn't participate in the bet, but came here to watch the fight for excitement. Chapter 1008. Chapter 1006. Underground Arena. If one were to calculate it, just the ticket sales alone would bring in millions of yuan of profit. This was a profitable business. The ticket sales weren't the most profitable, however. The most profitable business was betting on fights. No matter who won or lost, the house would always be the winner. Jiang Wen, who was hiding in the shadows, couldn't help but smile as he looked at the excited crowd. He asked his follower, Little Scorpion, not including today, how much money have we earned since we opened? Master Wen, we've earned 7 million already. Of course, that's including the 4 million we lost yesterday and the day before. Otherwise, we'd earn even more. The shifty-eyed man called Little Scorpion said respectfully with a notebook in his hand. Yes, Professor Ian, are you sure this Black Bear can beat Purple Wolf today? I don't think he can do it. He's almost beaten to a pulp already, isn't he? Jiang Wen nodded, but he looked worriedly at the 40-year-old man beside him. This middle-aged man was Professor Ian, sent by the Fire Wolf Gang to help Jiang Wen. He was a biochemist, specializing in the transformation of the human body and its potential. He invented a drug that could temporarily make people forget pain, instantly activating all the potential in the human body, making them unable to feel pain, only knowing how to attack until the last bit of energy left in their body. And this Black Bear was the first user of this drug. The previous fights were all real fights with hired boxers. There were wins and losses, deaths and injuries, and so Jiang Wen won quite a lot of money as the banker. But since the day before yesterday, when this Purple Wolf appeared, Jiang Wen had been plotting this money-making scheme. Purple Wolf was very strong. He was a boxing master that Jiang Wen had hired from an underground arena in the south. He defeated his opponents 2 days in a row and won. So when Purple Wolf came out today, most people bet on Purple Wolf's victory. Some rich people didn't lack money, and they only came to gamble to pass the time. But they still hoped to win. Who wouldn't want to win when betting? But today, this Black Bear, although called Black Bear, was very skinny and weak. It didn't match the image of a black bear at all. His body was already weak, and he still wanted to fight the winner, Purple Wolf? What wishful thinking. So, after seeing Black Bear's physique, everyone bet on Purple Wolf's victory. Some of the spectators saw Purple Wolf's ferocious strength and knew that his opponent was weak, so they were eager to give it a try. The individual investors had placed a lot of bets today. Although the amount of bets placed by each individual wasn't very large, with some being 10,000 and some being 100,000, the total amount added up was quite a lot. And so Jiang Wen was very happy. If Black Bear really won, he'd be able to earn 20 million tonight. Don't worry, young Master One. Didn't you see the Black Bear getting up again and again? If he keeps getting up, sooner or later, Purple Wolf will be tortured to death. Professor Ian said softly, Look, Black Bear is getting up again. The professor's attitude towards Jiang Wen wasn't very good at first, but after working with him for a few days, he realized that Jiang Wen wasn't only ruthless, but decisive as well. He was also good at making money. Not only did he provide enough human subjects for the professor to experiment on, but he also brought a lot of profit to the Firewolves. Even the leader of the Firewolves praised Jiang Wen's ability, saying that Jiang Wen was good at making money. This made the professor unable to underestimate Jiang Wen anymore. And so, the professor's attitude towards Jiang Wen became a lot more respectful. Sure enough, after the Black Bear was knocked down, it crawled back up from the ground. Step by step, it walked towards Purple Wolf. Although Purple Wolf could send Black Bear flying with one punch, it wasn't like he didn't get hit by Black Bear's attack. Although Black Bear's attack wasn't enough to send him flying, it was still quite powerful. Purple Wolf even wondered how Black Bear could throw such a heavy punch with such a skinny body. Although he didn't say anything, He was already suffering from serious internal injuries. Seeing Black Bear get up again with red eyes, Purple Wolf started to get annoyed. Why was Black Bear like a cockroach that couldn't be killed? Again and again, he sent him flying with heavy punches, but he got up from the ground again and again. Purple Wolf was sure that he had broken all of Black Bear's ribs. How could he still stand up in this situation? Wasn't he in pain? Seeing Black Bear rush towards him, Purple Wolf could only continue to fight. There were no rules in this underground arena, and there was no such thing as surrendering. There was only one result, and that was a fight to the death. One side had to beat the other until they couldn't move, and that was victory. Bang! Black Bear didn't fear death, and he punched Purple Wolf in the head. Purple Wolf saw stars, and his head was ringing. He had a concussion. Yes, he had a concussion a few times already. Black Bear didn't care about his heavy punches, and instead used this method to fight head-on with him. When Black Bear hit Purple Wolf's head, he was also sent flying by Purple Wolf. Once again, he fell to the ground. Purple Wolf felt like his head was going to explode, and the pressure inside increased. He knew that if he didn't go to the hospital soon, he would be finished. He was in a hurry, and he wanted to quickly finish the fight and go to the hospital for treatment. However, Black Bear miraculously got up from the ground again, and he charged again. Roar dash, Black Bear didn't fear death, and once again, he punched Purple Wolf's head. Bang! A loud sound rang out, and Purple Wolf's ears, nose, and mouth spewed out a large amount of purple blood. Then he fell to the ground. The moment Purple Wolf fell to the ground, Purple Wolf also attacked. Black Bear's body was sent flying again, and he fell to the ground. The audience was in an uproar. The undefeated and ever-victorious Purple Wolf had fallen, and he was bleeding from every orifice. Purple Wolf, stand up. Purple Wolf, stand up. Kill Black Bear. Stand up. Stand up. Motherfucker, I bet 500,000 yuan. You motherfucker, stand up. Don't play dead. However, what happened next made everyone disappointed. The one who stood up wasn't Purple Wolf, but Black Bear. Black Bear stood up, and both his hands were raised high. His eyes were still red, and even though he looked like a bloody gourd, he won. He was the last person to stand up. Chapter 1009. Chapter 1007 inches fact. He couldn't stand up anymore. He was already dead. Dejected shouts and curses filled the air. They were the ones who had placed their bets on Purple Wolf. Now that Purple Wolf was dead, their money was gone. They didn't even have a single cent left. Kaka. Jiang Wen looked at the victorious Black Bear and laughed. Not bad. We really won. This Black Bear is not bad. He has potential. We can use him as a trump card next time. Master Wen, this Black Bear can only be used once. The professor shook his head with a smile. Oh, why? Jiang Wen blinked. He's only been able to hold on until now because of the medicine. Once the medicine wears off, he can only wait for death because many of his internal organs have been destroyed. There's no way he can survive. Professor Eanes said. I see. What a pity. Jiang Wen's face showed a trace of pity. Man, what a tragedy. Master Wen, you're a man of greatness. It's just one or two people dying. What's there to pity? Don't be sad. Scorpion said carefully. He was sent by the Firewolves to help Jiang Wen, but he was also the one who would take the blame. The Firewolves were very kind, however, and had already arranged for Scorpion's family so that he wouldn't have to worry about them. Who said I'm pitiful? Jiang Wen rolled his eyes and waved his hand. I'm just worried about his organs. They're all destroyed. That's another million. Scorpion's face twitched. This Master One was really cruel. So it was because Black Bear's organs couldn't be sold for money. Hurry, get someone to take Purple Wolf and Black Bear down and see if there's any organs left. We'll cut them off and sell them. It'll be a great source of income. Jiang Wen waved his hand at Scorpion. Yes. Scorpion nodded and went to do it. Jiang Wen was a bold and ruthless man. He might be running an underground arena, but he'd found another way to make money, and that was by cutting off the organs of the dead fighters and selling them. In the past, Jiang Wen only sold the kidneys, but now he was cutting them all out. Corneas, kidneys, hearts. As long as they could be sold, He would cut them all off and sell them. The rest of the bodies would be thrown into his crocodile pond to be digested. As a result, Jiang Wen's profits from tonight's match wasn't limited to just the sparring itself. This was also why Fire Wolf Edition valued Jiang Wen so much. Jiang Wen had gotten into trouble before, but the Fire Wolves weren't afraid. They had plenty of people, and it wouldn't be easy to find a scapegoat. As long as you have the ability and can make money, that's enough for you. The fighters in Jiang Wen's arena, on the other hand, were hired from the internet to train underground fighters. There were also some who were lured in by benefits, such as security guards and farmers. They were told that they could earn 100,000 yuan from a match, and no matter if they won or lost, they'd still be guaranteed 100,000 yuan. But if they won, they'd get an extra 100,000 yuan. As a result, there was an endless stream of people coming to fight. The advantage of this type of people was that their whereabouts were originally uncertain. Many of the security guards were temporary workers. They worked today and quit tomorrow, so their mobility was relatively high. It was the same for migrant workers. If one or two of them were missing, it would not attract the attention of others. It was the same for the gangsters, too. Many of them were ready to run away after committing a small crime, and some of them disappeared all of a sudden. Their companions didn't even know if they committed a crime or ran away. Of course, it didn't matter even if they knew. If they really found Jiang Wen, he could just say that they earned money from fighting and took it away to enjoy life in another city. As a result, the underground arena never lacked fighters or spectators. If it wasn't targeted by the police, this would be a profitable business. It was also a business that didn't cost anything. Of course, Jiang Wen was an expert in businesses that didn't cost anything. Master one. Other than one of Purple Wolf's retina, the rest of his organs are fine. Black Bear, on the other hand, only 2 of his retina and his left kidney are fine. The rest are all ruined. Scorpion reported after a while. Black Bear's dead? Jiang Wen nodded. Not completely dead, but he's on the operating table now. Scorpion said. Not bad. There's still some use to him. These are worth a few 100,000. Jiang Wen nodded, satisfied. Tomorrow, you and Fighterly will continue to go out and find more people to fight here. I'll go play with the girls first. Yes, Master Wen. Scorpion nodded and sent Jiang Wen off. Jiang Wen had earned quite a bit these past few days. Lin Yi's sudden recovery pissed him off. He wasn't able to take advantage of the situation and marry Meng Yao, but he didn't dare go against Lin Yi without Fighter Li's explicit support. Fortunately, he had earned a lot of money these past few days. He booked a couple of virgins at the Starlight Hotel, going there with Tai Zhao every day to make up for the unhappiness in his heart. However, as far as Jiang Wen was concerned, these virgins were quite pure, but they were far from Meng Yao. His dream was still to push Meng Yao down. Meng Yao, you won't be able to escape from my palms. Once I have a certain position in the Firewolves, I'll have a large group of masters to order around. Lin, you would be nothing then. Jiang Wen was only a lowly representative of the Firewolves, but he had heard some news about the Firewolves from his father. The Firewolves were a super big gang with many masters, even stronger than the hidden houses. Jiang Wen even heard that the Firewolves had a super powerful force behind them. He didn't know what it was exactly, but if it was stronger than the hidden houses, then it had to be a powerful existence. Fighter Li was the master that the Firewolves gave to Jiang Wen. He had the strength of a mystic mid-phase, a very powerful master. It was rare in the common world. Only some of the noble houses could see him. However, Fighter Li didn't show up yet. After all, Fighter Li was here to hold the fort. Only when there was an opponent that couldn't be dealt with would Fighter Li be sent up. Under normal circumstances, Fighter Li was like Jiang Wen, eating, drinking, and having fun. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.